What is up, everybody? Okay, let's see if we can murder Mordred, which should be rather easy, honestly, because we beat Gwaine, so I think we've got it, but, hold on, we got our Melty Blood collab where we get a CE that does nothing! Fantastic! A little loud there, a little loud. Ahem. Big soundtrack, okay. Hey, look at me whipping AP this whole time. Oh, oh, this is great. Everyone was so mad because, you know, Fate getting into Melty Blood. Oh, fucking Artoria, right? And then so they rate up Artoria because of Melty Blood being out. That's super funny. I mean, hey, there's some Artoria fans that probably don't have her, so I want a higher NP rank. Actually, I bet you some people are rolling on that for coins. I bet you there's more people rolling on that for coins than people just trying to get Artoria in the first place. Like, straight up. Okay, let's go to the silly place here. I think we'll get Melty Blood / Tsukihime characters at some point. Probably more likely to be the Tsukihime characters, though, not the ones that are unique to Melty Blood. They're not as popular. Alright, I want to say Mordred is in chapter 6 or 7. We'll try to do story supports and bronze servants until then. Though Bedivere is pretty useless here. We'll summon I guess Paris again, because that's the best class here. We've been using Paris a lot, but he's like a good archer that's not even remotely overpowered, right? So it's like a really balanced thing you can summon that's not a waste of a slot, so you're not like 5-manning, but he's not carrying either, so it kind of works. Either that or a Arash, but my Arash is grailed, so staying away from that one for now. Okay, put Paris up, we good to go. Yeah, we actually beat Gwaine first try, but it was very close. And I tell you, if George had lived one more turn, I was watching that on the VOD, and I didn't articulate what I was trying to say very well, so I'm not sure everyone got it. The reason George dying a turn early was so bad is because Stheno doesn't have the evade from David. So what you want to have happen is Gwaine does his first NP, no one's died, you have George's taunt, so the evade hasn't gone away from Paris and David, and then just George dies to the NP. So then Stheno shows up after the first NP, right? And then she can do her stall stuff with charm and all that nonsense, just delay the second NP. But because George died early, Stheno was on the field for the original, you know, the first NP, right? Which is, and she doesn't have it, David's buff because she wasn't there before. And it's not good. It puts you behind quite a bit, so thankfully we won anyway. Okay, David, do I bring a Lancer or do I just, probably. We don't have a, you know what? I'm leveling Protoku. He has Divinity, we don't need Lancers that much in Camelot, but I'm gonna need them at some point, so I'm doing it. Rip Void Dust. Well, we'll go to Babylonia and get a bunch of Void Dust there anyway. I mean, George, even at his level, would have normally lived. It was just that he got Buster crit on turn 1, and it wasn't the hit that had the evade from David, so it was pretty unfortunate. Alright, might as well give him this stuff. Don't think I have that much XP for him. But if I can just get him to 50, I'll be happy with that. I'd love to get his evade to at least rank 6, but I don't think that's gonna happen. You can, oh hey, great success. You can solo Tristan with a very low level Leonidas. It's actually handy if your account happens to be very weak and you have absolutely no way of dealing with it otherwise. But I figure our account can do it. I don't know though, I could see Tristan being a bit of a problem. I've seen a lot of people get stuck on him instead of Gwaine. Let me get to like 51 just so I feel like we're not wasting that ascension. Good enough. Protoku has a stat curve where he gets a lot of his stats in the middle. So around like level 55 or so, he's actually pretty close to his maximum stats, which is kind of good for what we're doing right now. As such, I really should try to level him more, because each of these level ups for this range is actually worth a lot. But we're kind of out of XP, and I don't want to farm right now, so we'll deal with that later. Let's see if by some miracle I can level up his second skill to rank 6. I've got some Lancer gems. Doesn't really do anything until 6 though, just boosts the defense up. Got all that bronze XP, yeah, that'll, damn. Well, soon. Honestly, for having, all we've ever done is Summer 6, and we didn't even complete it 100%. So I'd say this account's doing pretty well for itself. Do I open with a Lancer? Nah. I may be overestimating this stage. Camelot still has some joke battles in it. Need that Stheno bond. Get the coins. All 5 of them. I can't believe you get 5 coins from bond 6 to 10. Like, what a joke. It barely helps. And you get more for bond 11. It's just, but bond 11 is basically 1 to 10 again. So it takes so long. But there's no telling when this account's gonna have any chance of getting other copies of Stheno. And if we want to get her passives, we gotta do something, obviously. Okay. Big boys right out to start. Guess I evade. This is the most I've used Paris since I tested him for the tier list video. Chat, I was in a stream last night where the streamer unironically did not understand why Fujino was good. It was just like, she doesn't have good normal card damage. She doesn't have a battery. It's not that much survivability. I'm used to it. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there actually that don't really see the value in her. And the thing is, she actually does have pretty good normal card damage. She has godly survivability. It's just not easy to see that if you don't actually use her. And then she just has so much utility. That's the big thing about Fujino. I've basically never seen a stage where Fujino is not getting some kind of advantage because of one of her niches. She's anti-super large, she has buff block, she has armor ignore, she has it's like, it's always something, right? It's always something. Yeah, I think a lot of people, they just look at her kit on paper and it doesn't seem that impressive, and they haven't seen it in a practical application. I think that's where it comes from. Okay, George died a little bit faster than I was expecting there. I do think her reputation, though, is a lot better now than when she first came out. When she first came out, I think a lot of people were like, whatever. But I think a decent amount of people that know what they're talking about have noticed how busted... Wait a minute. Do I evade on David in case we get blasted? I mean, he can probably phase tank it regardless. The thing is, he's rank 1, so the heal is really small. So I think we, let's see, I want Protoku and P gain. Use this. I should have used his art card last turn. Hope he hits. Yeah, that Paris, that's exactly what I wanted. Because then he can use his first skill and just get rid of the buffs. Giant defense up. Alright, can we kill this guy now? Yeah, the crit up combined with her buster up on a buster crit is actually a pretty noticeable amount of damage. That's a really nice thing about archers in general. Man, he just instantly casts his defense buff again. Okay, guys. Buster Chain, we got it. Alright. NP that one. No need to do all the NPs at once, because there's a decent chance he won't kill. He's only level 50. And I haven't done his NP upgrade or any of that. I'll have Cairo stream up right now too. I hate that every time I stream though, he loses a bunch of viewers because he's trying to get partner right now. Like once he gets partner, it doesn't matter, right? But it's super annoying. That's why I've been streaming later, so I'm trying to not run his analytics, because analytics is the only thing that matters when they look at the partner application, which is dumb, but it is what it is. Do I just NP even though I can't remove any of their buffs? I could Atlas and remove their buffs next turn. Okay, I'll just NP with David then. That means like, wait, why did I use my second skill then? Fuck it, we just NP anyway. This is a mess. I'm not playing right. Oh no. Oh no. I can't look. Chad, this is not representative of Green Ink Incorporated's typical gameplay. This is after hours stream. That's what this is. Okay, well, we're gonna have to slowly whittle down that 70k guy. Hey, we did well when we got serious yesterday. We got it. I think they get sure hit before their NP. Like, I think their NP just comes with sure hit. Who do I think is gonna get their NP next? Probably David, because he has an art deck. Oh, sorry, kiddo. Just in case, I guess I do this. Nope, they don't get sure hit, they just get it from their skill. Thanks for the NP gain, nerds. That actually helps quite a bit. So if I actually bother to do Protoku's buff quests and just get him to level like 60, he'll be almost as strong as he would be at 70, and then he'll have his upgraded NP and all that good stuff, so I'll get some pretty good value out of him that way. If I land the 10% crit, we might win this turn. Too bad. Okay, this was pretty sloppy, but hey, it worked out. With how weak this account is, it's like if I don't know exactly what the stage is, it's hard for me to bring a really clean setup. That's why the bosses in some ways are easier, because I at least know what they do. I remember what's what. Imagine if Protoku's animations weren't from 2015, but it's it's authentic, you see, because Prototype's an older story. That's why it's like that, clearly. But yeah, if you could get an animation update, that would be nice. Give Curse Arm the craft essence here. It's kind of interesting that I'm intentionally using Drunken Jolter instead of better craft essences to just keep our power range more reasonable. But, it's nice. Kind of like the gameplay. Hey, Ari. Not you two with the fucking Paimon Royale. Anyway, thank you for the 41 months. That's a pretty damn long time. In case you can't count. Hi, Cairo. Oh, we got raided. Excuse me. That explains a few things. And I'm glad Cairo didn't see that last stage. Ahem. Okay, Kojiro. I guess this is a good time for Stheno. Back row is pretty much just for Bond. It's just bad gameplay, Cairo. Just bad gameplay. I guess Ushi. I'm trying to think. There's got to be someone I really need to get Bond with other than Stheno and Ushi. I guess George. I don't know. Atalante. Either that or like Hans. I guess Hans, because eventually this account's gonna have to do Lost Belt 5 and 6, and actually Hans's Wanzi is pretty cool if you happen to have it. But what's George at? George is doing pretty well. George is the most important, like, because it's easy to bring him all the time. And it's a easy craft essence to get value out of. A lot of the other ones, even like some of the ones that are better than you might think, are still ultimately pretty niche. Okay, hopefully no one dies, so my crappy back row won't matter. I wish I had a K-scope instead of 2 cope scopes. Yeah, Mozart's is pretty good, but also not one I would use as often as George's, I would think. But it is nice. Guessing it's a bunch of dragons again. I like how even in Camelot they find a way for you to fight a bunch of dragons. Very silly. You know, a nice thing about Cope Scope is it gives you another option to limit break your K-Scope, right? Some people have enough K-Scopes to limit break it, but then they won't have an extra, and they don't have enough units to work with imaginary element instead, so they have to wait until they get another K-Scope. But if you happen to get a Cope Scope, that's another way you can just freely MLB the normal K-Scopes. That's nice. If they ever make an Orleans anime, I legitimately think they should put Kojiro in it. Because first off, I think Orleans could use a bit of sprucing up story-wise and character interaction-wise. I think Kojiro is a character that could use some more screen time. And the meme is too good, so I think it would be the right call. Have you told chat about your blunder with that man? You're gonna have to be more specific. I have a lot of blunders in my life. I mean, what? Oh. We don't need to tell them that, Cairo. So I would just like to remind everyone though, like, how dumb all of this is, because it's like, it used to just be Canis, right? It used to just be Canis, and there was no confusion, and then legitimately people got confused because of Canis, and then somebody named their fucking account Canis CD, right? And they just had to remind me, you know, every time, and that's just where we're at now. It's ridiculous. And then what really annoys me is no hate for Canis, right, or anything, but Medea went for so freaking long without getting a craft essence, right? And then Canis got one in like such a short period of time that it just made the meme even worse, right? Like, how does that even happen? I feel like they just don't like Medea at all, and like anytime, like, and this is a thing for all Fates Stay Night characters, they go out of their way not to use Fates Stay Night characters, other than Curse Arm, because they feel like Curse Arm didn't get used in the visual novel very much. But they clearly go out of their way not to use Fates Stay Night characters for major stuff, and when they do use them, they go very far out of their way to use their alternate versions instead, right? They'll use Medea Lily, Caster Ku, stuff like that, right? They're way more willing to do that kind of stuff than use the regular Fates Stay Night cast. And honestly, initially I get it, and I actually agree with it, right? You want the game to have its own story, and you already have Fate Stay Night and Fate Hollow and stuff, so, you know, give some other people some time to shine. That's totally fine. But Fate Hollow and Fate Stay Night were 27 years ago. I'm exaggerating. But, you know, they're super old now, and there's been more FGO content than that content ever had, right? So, like, I think when the stories call for it, or the setting calls for it, or a good interaction can happen, they shouldn't be afraid to use Fate Stay Night stuff anymore, right? Like, early on, I get it. But at this point, they're not stealing anybody's thunder. That's just not a thing anymore. Like, Jolter's more popular than most of the Fate Stay Night cast is now, right? And you're worried about, like, Emiya stealing her thunder? Like, are you kidding me? Like, of course that's not gonna happen. But, like, at this point, I just want to see, you know, good character interactions, good story developments, you know, good fights and all that kind of stuff that makes sense and, you know, work, right? So I don't care if, oh, well, Fate Stay Night already had its time. Everybody's pretty much had their time at some point. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. But most people have, and, you know, again, there's more FGO stories than there is, you know, Fate Stay Night at this point. So their original statement about Fate Stay Night just doesn't make sense anymore when, again, there's more FGO stories by far than there ever was for the original Fate cast. I've actually seen people call Medea's Bond CE Medea Lily's Bond CE because Medea doesn't use their staff that much. Wait, what? Are they just getting it confused? Or are they just saying that it doesn't really mean a lot to her? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me some people would get it confused. Look at all these units that don't have divinity, and then we don't have our skill ranked up, so it's kind of a sad state of affairs here. Okay, well, I guess Kojiro's gonna do all the work, because Curse Arm crits there sucked. The Curse Arm's in P next turn. I mean, there definitely are times where, you know, it would not make sense to use the Fate Stay Night cast, and it would be like shoehorned in there, like for sure. But I think there's a lot of situations where they could use the characters and it would be fine. And especially ones like Kojiro and like Ku and stuff that they didn't really ever get that much screen time in Fate Stay Night or Fate Hollow anyway. It's big time on Kojiro. Like seriously, Kojiro never really got to do that much. I wonder if they would put Scion in FGO, like, because of that. The thing is, Scion's not even in the Melty Blood remake, which is actually kind of surprising because she's a really major character in the old Melty Blood games. So, like, I think it's actually kind of unfortunate. I think if they do, like, a Tsukihime collab, you know, obviously they're going to mostly focus on the characters from just straight Tsukihime, but you might have gotten some Melty Blood, you know, in there. But, with the way that the remake is, I don't think that's going to really happen. A lot of the Melty Blood specific people aren't in Melty Blood anymore. And I think anything with that side of the universe that they ever used in the collab, it's really going to focus on like what's popular from the new Melty Blood and from the visual novel Tsukihime, right? The new stuff. They're not going to like, you know, I don't think they're going to use Scion or you know, Vampire Dude, Knight of whatever the hell, you know, and Roast Beef and stuff. I don't think they're going to use those characters. Which kind of sucks, Honestly, I don't like the Melty Blood cast at all. I think it's lame. Like, there's so many of the real classical Melty Blood characters aren't in it. Like, what the fuck, right? It's almost all Tsukihime characters, which I get it. Melty Blood is basically, you know, an expansion on Tsukihime, and that's fine. But it looks like to me that they're just using Melty Blood to just hype up the remake visual novel more than actually trying to, you know, spruce up Melty Blood, which, why did you even name it Melty Blood then, right? Like, it just seems kind of cheap. I mean, seriously, almost all of the unique Melty Blood cast is not in the game, right? And the cast is just bare bones anyway. Oh, I'm sure some of it will be DLC, obviously, but that almost makes it worse, right? It's like, all those original Melty Blood characters, yeah, we'll put them in, but you gotta pay extra, right? Like, that kind of sucks. But yeah, the cast of Melty Blood is just, it's so small. Like, it's so small. Yeah, I definitely think a Tsukihime collab will be like 5-star arc, Welfare Shiki. I don't know, they might make CL, or whatever her name is, a 5-star as well. Because sometimes they do 2 5-stars for big events. Like, that's happened before. And they might make something else a 4-star, like one of the maids or something. Like, they might do that. Like, the maids are pretty popular, so I could see them trying to work that into a collab. Yeah, I've been watching some Melty Blood, and I saw Cairo play it last night, and I don't hate it, but I'm really unimpressed by the new Melty Blood. It just looks so bare bones of a fighting game. Like, it's very uncomplicated. And sure, some fighting games can be too complicated and convoluted, but it's pretty basic. Like, it's a very bare bones fighting game. You know, it looks like it's good controls and speed and everything, but the cast is tiny. And then mechanically, it's very bare bones, so it does not interest me very much. But maybe in the future, if they add more stuff. Yeah, that's how I feel Beastly. Like, I might play it for funsies, right? Like, later down the road, but as it is, I'm not really interested in, like, playing it even remotely seriously. And I'm in no hurry to get it, because it just, I don't know. If I was wanting to play, like, a more competitive fighting game and really get into it, it's definitely not the one I would pick. And I'm just not really, with the cast being so small, I just don't really care about the roster, so... This is the Judgment theme from Tales of Symphonia, the anime, not the game. I've played Actress Again, and honestly, in a lot of ways, I feel like Actress Again is probably a better game than the new Melty Blood, just because it has a bigger cast, and it's got the, you know, full moon, crescent moon system and all that kind of, which is pretty interesting. I played the old Melty Blood games, and I don't mind them, but I never really liked them that much, because again, they were still pretty bare bones, and they didn't have as, and some of this I think is because the fighting game I played the most was BlazBlue, and BlazBlue is abnormally complicated, and in some ways that's a fault, right? In some areas I think BlazBlue is too complicated and like needlessly convoluted. But BlazBlue gives you a lot of interesting options that really matter. Like when you're playing a match or watching a match, you know, if someone's getting a block string, you know, they have an active choice. Should they block, or should they stop blocking and then go for an instant block? And that lets you like punish someone faster, or use a barrier to push the enemy away from them, right? And sometimes that's bad, because if you use your barrier to push your attacker away from you, that means it's harder to punish them. But it means it's harder for them to like keep attacking you or try to go for a grab or something, right? So there's a lot of decisions. Sometimes it's good to block, sometimes it's good to insta-block, sometimes it's good to barrier, then sometimes you burst, or then the other player can go for a, you know, baiting the burst and things like that. Those kind of mechanics just don't really exist in Melty Blood, be it the new one or the old one, and I just find it kind of boring. It's like, I've always found Melty Blood to just be very basic, you know, and it's good. It executes the basic concepts that would make a fighting game good, well, like totally well. But yeah, it's a bit too simple for me. And then on top of that, I just, you know, the older Melty Blood games definitely have more characters that I like in them. But even they don't have that many, right? It's basically capes and shiki and roast beef, and that's pretty much it. Maybe the other Nero a little bit, but that's about it. And the new one, I'm like, I don't care about anybody. So I'm not even kidding. I think Artoria is one of the the most likely character I would play in that game. And I don't want to play Artoria at all, so you know, that kind of tells you how I feel about the roster over there. Can I charm these? Probably not, because they're kind of like constructs, but let's find out. Oh shit, I can. Feels good. I brought the wrong team. I did not change anything. Jason gonna have to carry. Good luck. Oh boy. Yeah, I wasn't really paying attention to my team setup there. BlazBlue's plot is really complicated, but no, BlazBlue is a way more complicated game than a lot of more recent fighting games. It's kind of interesting though, because in BlazBlue's day, it wasn't really that complicated in comparison to some of the other even more complicated games out there. But by modern standards, BlazBlue is unbelievably complicated compared to what's out there. Also, it depends on which version of BlazBlue. Like BlazBlue CT, the first one, not that complicated. But from that game on, you know, they got pretty complicated with, like, they had a lot of one-frame links and things like that. I mean, a lot. They had a lot of, you know, character-specific mechanics. And actually, to this day, I'd say BlazBlue has some of the most character-specific mechanics out of any fighting game, because that was like their whole shtick, was each character had a whole gameplay mechanic that was for them only, and every character in the game was like that, and that got really ridiculous. But BlazBlue gives you way more options than most games when it comes to like their counter assaults, where to use your meter, you know, rapid canceling, barrier versus blocking versus insta blocking, right? Most fighting games do not have those kind of mechanics anymore. Like, not at all. I mean, if you look at Guilty Gear Strive and stuff, it's a lot of those kind of more complicated fighting game mechanics have been stripped away, and it's focusing more on just the bare necessities with, like, you know, punishing and being safe, and that's fine. You know, those can still be very fun. But I really like all that uniqueness with BlazBlue and all the character-specific stuff and how many options you had on defense. Most fighting games now don't really give you any options for defense. It's pretty much blocking and punishing, and that's it. Where, you know, some older fighting games give you a lot more. But yeah, it is interesting. I remember in BlazBlue's day, it was actually kind of considered a slightly more accessible fighting game. But by now's standards, it's not like that at all. I mean, if you look at BlazBlue Central Fiction or even Continuum Shift, they are just so much more complicated than Melty Blood or Guilty Gear Strive or, you know, Smash Ultimate and things like that. Smash Ultimate's not exactly a fighting game, you know, platformer fighting game, if you will, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, the times have just changed, right? I think fighting games have become a lot more streamlined because they're trying to be, you know, more accessible. And to some extent, that's fine. I actually think that we need fighting games out there like that. But I'd also like some other fighting games that had a bit more meat on their bones. Because here's the thing, there are apps, and this is like a real fault of BlazBlue and a lot of older fighting games, there is definitely an arbitrary barrier to entry that has nothing to do with skill, right? Like, learning some of the combos in BlazBlue is, it depends on the character, right? There are some characters, I think this is why actually BlazBlue has the reputation it does, like old school fighting game fans. Like Ragna. Playing Ragna in BlazBlue is easy. It's incredibly easy. He does not have really any combos that you really need to learn that are that hard to do. There's not that much going on under the hood, right? It's pretty straightforward. But there's a lot of characters in BlazBlue that are just ludicrously hard to learn. And then you do have a lot of core mechanics that just don't exist in more recent fighting games. But anyway, yeah, I think most recent fighting games they're trying really hard to, you know, appeal to everybody and make it easy to get in. And I think a lot of old fighting games did make a mistake. Like, for example, there were some characters in BlazBlue where you could actually be better than your opponent. Like, your fundamentals at a fighting game could be better than your opponent's, but you would lose because the character you were playing was just really hard to play and to get any damage out of, right? So, like, you know how to block and punish and you know, you catch them, but you can only get like 800 damage out of your character because you haven't sat down and, you know, played it for hours and hours and hours and hours in the training mode. Where they're playing a character that's really easy to get like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 damage by just mashing a button, and so, you know, you actually lose. That's a real problem with a lot of older fighting games where you could be really good at the core of what a fighting game is, about knowing, you know, how to be safe, when not to be safe, when you're trying to predict what the opponent does, you know, punishing and all that kind of stuff. You can be really good at all that, but it takes forever to just learn how to play like a goddamn character, and you don't want to, you know, spend countless hours doing that, and reasonably so, I would say. And so a lot of more recent fighting games have really lowered that. They've made it a lot easier to at least understand the basics of your character and just get, you know, decent damage out of them. You don't have to sit there in, you know, training mode for 3 hours. But with that, I think they've lost a lot of depth. Like, I think they've lost a lot of depth through doing that. Like, honestly, there hasn't been a fighting game that's actually interested me in a really long time because they've all just been so dumbed down. Especially, like I said, on defense. Like, I don't like when fighting games, when they have no interesting defense options. It's just blocking and then maybe a burst and that's it, right? That's super boring. And Stheno might get absolutely deleted. I might actually lose this stage. Our team is so weak for what we're doing. There's a real chance we're just gonna fail here. Like, my back row is a bunch of riders or something. Yeah, I think we're gonna fail. I think I'm gonna have to reset this. Real mistake bringing Kojiro and crew here. I think games having a nice, you know, good core neutral game that people can just jump into is okay. Yep, I'm just resetting that. It's just like we're not even close here. We can't even get past the first wave. Well, there's our first fail in Camelot. But it's mainly because I just wasn't paying attention and I accidentally brought the wrong team there. All right, let's see. One archer in the back, I think. Okay, now we should be fine. I'm trying to think in case of emergency if I want to change anything. I could put George in and then have that bring in David. Yeah, this is better. I don't know about Hans though. I wouldn't mind Hans blonde though. Okay, well, we'll make it work. Stheno die, delete the account? I think not. The fact that I don't have Anniversary Blonde right now though, it's because I'm not rolling. I'll roll after Camelot though. And I'm really hoping I get spooked by some useless gold unit that I don't want. So I can just burn them right away and then get Anniversary Blonde. I really like working on Anniversary Blonde in the main story. So by the time you get done with like Lost Belt 1 or whatever, you've got default finish, you got Anniversary Blonde finish, and then you can work on like switch Mysticote a bit on the side or something, right? And you're in good shape. 90k. No wonder I was struggling here. Well, there's a Van No banner. Yeah, I saw that. I remember I was saying it's like it doesn't take a lot to get me to roll right now because I just want coup, and I'm serious. Like it's still true. It really will not take much to get me to roll right now. But Van Gogh, I don't think so, right? It's got to at least be something kind of positive, right? This is such a pipe dream, but I'm hoping. This would just be so nice. Is if we got like Saber Wars 3 and they add like a new American servant that doesn't completely suck, and then Billy's rated up because Billy's going to be in Saber Wars 3, guys, and he's going to get buffed and he's going to get an animation update, so he's going to be rated up. So I get to roll on that and get Billy coins and maybe get some coup coins in there as well because 3-star rate ups are a lie, right? So that would be really good, right? So I get a Billy animation update. I get Billy copies for his passives. I need those too, right? I've got like less of those than I do for coup. And then also while I'm rolling, maybe I get a couple of coup copies. I like how I can't even grail coup right now. I've got 4 grails, I think, and I can't grail my boy. Let's see, this is what's more likely to happen. I don't think it's copium to think Billy might get an animation update and that kind of thing, right? And as such, he might get rated up. You know, they've rated up Jin K sometimes when she's in an event, right? Things like that. So that part could happen. But this is what I actually see happening. So Saber Wars 3 happens, and Billy does get an animation update, but it's not that good. And then the new Gunslinger is just super lame. Right, like just totally lame, awful animations, disgraceful to the actual legend or lore, right? And then, you know, Ku's not involved in any way, so he's certainly not getting rated up. And then that's it, right? And then when I do roll a little bit, I don't even get Ku copies. I don't even get Billy copies. And then it's just, well, waste of space. Yeah, that's what I see happening. Now we're getting realistic here. What I'd really like is for there to be another gunslinger that they didn't show. But the thing is, gunslingers are just like a side thing in Saber Wars, right? I don't even know why. I literally don't even know why. They just as of Saber Wars 2, they decided, you know, we're just gonna inject a bit of cowboy nonsense into Saber Wars for some reason. So, you know, Billy got used, they added Calamity Jane, and then at the end they're hinting at that other gunslinger, right? But that's not like the main thing, right? Like whatever like new 5-star they're gonna be or whatever is gonna be like, you know, some space nonsense that's nothing to do with anything. But I'd be happy if for some reason Saber Wars got us like, I don't know, Butch Cassidy, Doc Holliday, you know, something like that. That'd be pretty cool, but that's not gonna happen. I think it's gonna be, you know, Billy hanging out with the new gunslinger, and there'll just be a little side part of it. And then there's gonna be, you know, a new main focus, so it has nothing to do with either of them. And that's all you're gonna get for the Western stuff. I think Doc Holliday would be decently popular. It'd definitely be popular in NA. I don't know if it'd be that popular in Japan, though. And that's a big part of why you don't see a lot of Western stuff in FGO, is they're worrying more about China and Japan, so... Do I just heal David here to be safe? I really don't want David dying before we actually get to the units. I don't know, I could just NP with Siegfried. Is that worth it for one guy? He's not even a dragon, though. Dude, if I was gonna NP with Siegfried, I should have split my damage. Because whatever damage my NP does, that means I overkilled that much damage on the one that's already dead. So I probably could have killed both of them right now if I'd been paying attention. Well, let's see what happens. We'll just pretend this guy's a dragon. And yeah, the Chinese server has been censoring a lot of stuff. You know, the White Death would be pretty awesome. Now, that's something, like, again, North America that I think would be really well received, and a lot of people know what that is. But again, in China and Japan, I don't see that happening. But he's certainly famous enough. I think that's a good example of a more, you know, modern person that is easily famous enough to be a heroic spirit. I mean, we have Sei for crying out loud. Okay, I actually want Jason's NP. I'm hoping he doesn't kill, though. Okay, that worked out. Shame I didn't have Siegfried's golden rule up there. Yeah, we still would have lost. That stage before where I gave up, we definitely would have lost. Okay, I need David's NP. It's the most important now. I love Jason, dude. He's great. What a redemption arc he got, though. I saw that coming a mile away, though. It was because of Solomon, the Solomon story. It was really obvious they were going to do that. Because I don't, even originally, when they first wrote Jason for just like, you know, the background stuff with Herc and then Oceanus, I don't think they ever wanted him to just be a straight villain. I think they wanted you to see him like a little shit like Shinji or whatever, but then, you know, eventually see there's more to it than that. That's what, I think they always wanted to do that, and I think, like, again, the Solomon chapter makes that pretty obvious, and just his own legend kind of makes that obvious. So I'm actually overall very happy with how they handled Jason. Here's the thing, they do things like Jason and Achilles sometimes where I'm like, man, they're doing a good job of making it anime, but then still actually, you know, basing it on the stories and, you know, actually putting in some good references and stuff, right? They do good, right? They do good, but then every once in a while they're all like, you know, Space Ishtar and Van Gogh and Vortigern and, you know, and I don't, it's like, what the fuck are we doing here? Yeah, they put Jason in that flashback in Strange Fake. Alright, we get our NP just off the art chain if I do that. Honestly, I don't really think Jason is that good of a budget unit, to be honest, and there's quite a few reasons. So I don't think he's terrible, but I think Jason is way overrated gameplay-wise, and I wish that wasn't the case. I wish Jason was like top tier 1-star, but I think most people that say Jason is good haven't actually had to rely on Jason, right? They use him as a side thing for funsies when they have a bunch of other sabers that are way stronger. And, you know, they got Castoria and shit like that. That's a trifle, you know, you're not actually using Jason, right, in a way that is meaningful. When you have to actually use Jason as, like, your saber, he kinda sucks. His damage is awful. Like, I mean, it's absolutely terrible. And it's so bad that a lot of times for farming, it doesn't work. And, like, you're better off with, like, all kinds of other units, even at neutral. And his survivability is just and his support is just and his normal card damage is basically non-existent because 1-stars make terrible damage dealers. This is not even unique to Jason. Every 1-star DPS in the game is bad except for Kojiro, and even Kojiro is still worse than his 3-star counterpart, like 100 Face, right? And the only reason Kojiro is good-ish is because they buffed the bejesus out of him. Right? Meanwhile, Charlotte, Black Bart, and Jason, they don't have nearly as much oomph behind them as Kojiro does, and it just doesn't work. Like, when I see people that say Jason is good, it's normally whales that have, like, every unit in the game, and every once in a while they mess around with Jason with, like, double Castoria and shit like that, and they say he's good, right? No. Like, no. That's not realistic, and if you're in that scenario, you have better options than Jason anyway. You know, when Jason really is a budget option and when he actually is useful, you know, to most accounts, or could be useful to most accounts, he's not actually strong enough. Like, he's just not. He does not do that much damage. He does not loop that easily. He's reliant on a lot of other units that if you have access to, you have better things you could do, right? If you have access to Castoria, be it your own or from a friend, there are just better things you can do than Jason nonsense. Like, now, if they ever buff Jason, I think Jason is close to being good. I don't think he's useless. I don't think he's better than Charlotte. I'll say that. I definitely think Jason is better than Charlotte. But I've used Jason quite a bit since his release, and because I like him, and I've also seen a lot of whales out there claim that he's a budget unit that all you free-to-plays need to level. I see it all the time. I'm not trying to, like, you know, piss on anyone here, but I've seen a lot of whales go out there and try to give advice to budget people when they themselves are not budget people, and they say Jason is worth using. And I've tested a lot of that stuff, and it does not hold water at all. And, like, you know, I wish it did. Every time I've really sat down and really tried to look at the value of Jason, I'm always hoping I get good results, and I generally don't, right? And yeah, I think he's very overrated, and I really hope he gets buffed. And I really dislike when this happens. A lot of times you'll have whales saying Baldy's so good, or Jason's so good, or Black Bart's so good, and that makes the community think it's true, and then it gets repeated a lot, and then that unit doesn't get buffed when that unit needs to be buffed. I mean, a really good example is Baldy. I mean, Baldy has had this reputation for being this godly unit for so long, and he's never actually accomplished anything. And he's been needing a buff, you know, since forever, and he's never gotten one. And I'm not sure he's ever going to get one. And it sucks, because I like Baldy, and I'd like him to, you know, not be a piece of RNG shit. Thing is, if you have Caster Oratoria, you can enable a lot of stuff at just neutral to do better than Jason would do, unless you Grail Jason. You know, it's just, yeah, again, I'm not saying Jason is completely useless, and I'm not saying he's like the worst unit in the game. Absolutely not. He's absolutely more useful than some of the other units out there. But there's a reason why. Like, I've leveled my Jason on my main account and things like that. And you know, how do I put this? I have not seen it as a waste of my time to level Jason and use Jason for like funsies on my main account though. But that's because my main account already has a million things. It already has Spartacus, Arash, Fergus, Bedivere, right? It already has those things. There's a reason why when I go and make like the Hercules account, the Stheno account, and the 1 to 3 star account, there's a reason I don't level Jason. It's not because I don't like him. It's because he's not worth it, right? On an account like that where I'm not playing the account all the time. I can't level every single unit that I want, and I've got to be a bit picky. I've got to make sure when I level something, I got to make sure I get my, you know, boom for my buck. there's a reason Jason doesn't make the cut for a really long time. Like, obviously, the longer the account goes, the more things you level, it becomes more and more reasonable to level him. But there's a reason he is never like one of the first things on the level list. Like, for example, from a challenge quest perspective and a main story perspective, like getting through the main hard boss fights, you know, fighting, you know, Fluffy and Gwaine and Zeus and all those, you know, Demeter, none of that stuff you need Jason for. None of it. There's no major boss fight or challenge quest you need Jason for, and most of them he's not even remotely good for. Like, generally he's terrible. And like Bedivere is way better. And then for farming, if you're on a budget and you're wanting to level stuff to help you farm and make your farming life easier, he's not the thing to level either. You should level Spartacus and Arash. They are significantly more useful to the average player, where Jason is only going to be useful for farming, like, very rarely. Like, honestly, very rarely. Meanwhile, Arash and Spartacus are going to help a free-to-play out farm all of the time. I mean, all of the time. They are useful constantly. So, like, those are just way better things to level. And I'd say even Hohenheim is better to level than Jason. Well, that one's kind of pushing it too because his mats are demonic. But, do I just art chain here? Yeah, fuck it. Wait, do I have an evade? Yeah, just keep everybody alive here. Yeah, give Jason battery. Oh god, that's all they do these days, man. Although I tell you what, there is a way you could give Jason battery that wouldn't actually bother me, and this would be a better use of giving someone battery than most of the batteries that they give out, and that is if you gave Jason team-wide battery. They need more team-wide battery for low stars, and most of the ones that they have are all the same. They're all 20%. They're all 20%, and that's not useful, right? It's like, if you need 20%, you have more than enough options for that. So if they gave Jason like a 20% battery, I'd be super annoyed because that wouldn't really help. But if they gave Jason, like, he can give one unit 30 or 40% battery, or give the whole team 30% battery, or something like that, that would make him so much more useful, and that would be that's something practical low stars actually need because they don't have it. So that I would not mind, but they probably wouldn't do that, let's be honest. They probably give himself like just a personal battery, and it'd be like the same old that we always see. So. Yeah, Hohenheim, excuse me, I was going to say Percival for some reason. Hohenheim's damage is very low, but he's still useful for farming because he will normally clear a first wave for you, like that first wave where the enemies have like 10k health or whatever. He can deal with that part, and then he sets up someone else to do a lot better, right? Because he'll give them a damage boost, give them MP gain. Now, I don't use Hohenheim that much for farming. I really don't. Even when I'm trying to do budget setups where I don't use my stronger stuff, you know, it's still Arash, Spartacus, Chen Gong, those kinds of things generally are just a lot better. But every once in a while, Hohenheim is good. He can be good. But yeah, as Ari is pointing out, Hohenheim's damage is terrible. But he's useful for farming regardless because of everything else that he does. Because he gets his NP for free, right? You can get Hohenheim's NP without needing to use K-Scope or something. So he's one of the easiest units that can just clear a turn one wave and like need almost no crap. He can use like, you know, what Jeweled Sword or something like that, right? So he can really help your team costs and things like that, or if you just don't have a lot of K-Scopes. Where Arash and Spartacus require stronger craft essences to clear a wave 1. And that's really where Hohenheim's value comes in. He can clear a wave 1. Because the thing is, you don't need Arash to clear a wave 1, right? A lot of times you're wasting damage if you use Arash for that. Where if you use Hohenheim for wave 1, then you can use Arash for wave 2, right? And now we're looking really good. I think you can do things like that. So Hohenheim is useful. It's just his mats are death. I mean, his mats are absolutely horrible. So Hohenheim is... Here, my advice to new players, free-to-play people, you know, people that have been really unlucky or whatever, if you're needing help with farming, the two budget things to look to first is Arash and Spartacus. It's just Arash and Spartacus and like Chen Gong, because Chen Gong gives you universal battery and he also can do a lot of damage himself and things like that. And so those are the 3 units. If you're needing help with farming, those are the 3 units. Now, if you've got those 3 and you're wanting to like, you know, get even more stuff, if anything, I would say Medusa before I would say Jason or even Hohenheim. I really would, because there's a lot of stages she's been good, and then she's more useful in main story and challenge quests. But Hohenheim would pop up before Jason. I would definitely say that. Hohenheim would definitely pop up before Jason. I think Jason's very low. If I was gonna make a list of things to level as a new account or free to play, Jason would be very, very low. Oh well, how is it, Cairo? Yeah, I got some of that myself actually the other day. I got different stuff than you did, but yeah, let me know. I haven't had that type in a long time. Okay, Lance, you're good here. Gareth it is. That is a terrible craft essence on Gareth, but we're kind of wanting things to be scuffed from our support because our account is scuffed, so we want to match. Don't want to get carried here. Hoping to play Arc Knights later tonight. I bring this up because I was talking about scuff, and there's a lot of scuff over there. But yeah, I want to play that 510 boss fight. I said I was going to practice it some off stream, but I didn't. I haven't played it a single time, so yeah. Hopefully there's no super strong rider here and I'm not making a mistake. In case there's another one, I'll do that. Okay, good enough. Yeah, I said on stream that I was gonna test out like dropping Melantha on the boss's face, but I haven't actually done that. I'll just test it on stream though. It kind of looked like it would be good. Oh yeah, and Arc Knights had a big update. Dude, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. So, this is going to pertain to FCO, but it's going to take a second. So, Arc Knights did an update where you can play past events. I think there's like 4 or 5 past events available day 1. They're all permanent though, and if you beat a stage, you can do the stage again, right? Unlike FCO, cough cough. They revamped their support system. It's so much better now. You can like prioritize certain unit types, and then you have unlimited refreshes. And you can refresh much faster and everything. They also just rehauled a lot of your UI, and it's actually better, right? It's very intuitive and it's logical, and I figured it out in like no time. I was like, oh wow, this UI is great. You know, every time fucking FGO does something with their UI, it's just a convoluted mess and a million things in one place, and it's just awful, right? So yeah, Arc Knight's doing nice updates over there, and I'm like, can FGO do some of this? Especially their main interlude system is just way better than FGO's. It's so much better. They added a bunch. They already have more past events in day one of like the main interlude system of Arc Knights, and they already have more past events available than FGO has after having main interludes for years. So I'm like, fantastic, right? And then Arc Knights, if you find a boss stage, you can fight it again, right? It's not gone. You don't lose it. You can just do it again. And they give you like these tickets, like practice tickets. You get 30 practice tickets a day. Where if you want to just do a stage for fun, you don't want loot or anything, you can do the stage without it even costing AP. So you can just fight it, right? And you can do that 30 times a day. And then also if you start a stage and then you cancel it, you get your AP back. So if you ever wanted to do a hard stage just for fun and you weren't wanting to actually farm the drops from it for the loot, you could just do the stage, get to like the very end, right before you beat it, cancel it, you get your AP back. There you go, no big deal. You know, meanwhile, FGO, it's like, yeah, there goes 25 AP. And in Raid's cases, 40 AP. I just wish FGO would, like, pay attention to other games, and when other games do smart things, I wish they would copy them, right? That's generally what that was such a, what am I doing? I just wasted so much that turn there. Well, I guess I got overkill in P-games. Yeah, it's Cairo, you will find that a lot when it comes to sour stuff, and it's because everyone's a wuss. It is very hard, because I tried some new sour candy today that I ordered, and it was not near, it was good, but it wasn't nearly sour enough. It is difficult to find really sour stuff. But there are some out there. If you want something really sour, I can link you some stuff later if you want. But yeah, that's very it's hard to find like proper spicy stuff. It's hard to find proper sour stuff. You know, sweet stuff is easy, but yeah, sour and spicy is kind of tough. Although spicy's better because there is a pretty large, you know, like hardcore spicy, you know, fandom out there. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but you know, it's like spicy sauce and stuff. You can't really find it in stores a lot of the time, but you can order it pretty easily. So finding good spicy stuff's not bad. What I see a lot of, at least and this might be different in different countries and different places in the world, but I found in America, what you'll find in America when you go to like a shop or something, unless you go to like a Korean store or something like that, is you'll get like, it's pretending to be spicy, but it's actually not. So those Americans can feel like they're eating something spicy when they're not. Same for sour. If you want to get like something sour, it'll be kind of sour, but not really, right? So like we get to pretend we're eating sour stuff. But when it comes to cheese and sugar, we got that everywhere, right? You can't get away from cheese and stuff over here stateside, which annoys me because I don't actually like cheese too much. So, but yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, a lot of times you have to look for like specialty stores to find that like, more unique flavor stuff. I haven't gone to like a Korean store in a while just because COVID and now I work at home, so like I used to be out more and about more. But if I do want to get like proper like ingredients for spicy food, I pretty much always go to a Korean shop. And my family was part Korean, and I grew up eating a lot of Korean food and stuff, so I like a lot of that stuff. But legitimately, it's a really good place to get spices and things like that. Okay, do I just NP with Proto-Ku? I guess so. Sadly, these don't count as Beast. Red chili pepper is very good. I love that stuff. Cheese is so popular. I think worldwide, but it's very popular stateside, like absolutely. I guess I'll do my crit skill, hope for the best. I don't have Proto-Ku's Star Absorb skill yet because I haven't done his buff quest. Might kill though. Proto-Ku gets a lot of boom for your buck when he's at those intermediate levels because you don't have to keep leveling him and he's got that good stat spread, so. Oh, shit, I didn't think the boss was gonna be that. Should have saved Proto-Ku's stuff. Well, I think I waste her battery, I just throw it away, and I get her counterattack. This is fine. Actually, this is really good, because she makes those stars for Proto-Ku, and then she'll get a bunch of attack up from being attacked here. Yeah, this is totally fine. We'll kill it. Might even kill it right here, actually. Let's see what Gareth can do. Unfortunately, Gareth's Craft Essence doesn't do anything, because I was too lazy to switch it, but it'd still be solid. Gareth really is a good bronze. She's not bad. She's got a nice toolkit, and then she's a 2-star instead of a 1-star. Like, a lot of the 1-stars, like Charlotte and Black Bart and Kojiro, they would be a lot better at what they do if they were 2-stars instead of 1-stars. It is enough of a stat difference to matter. It really is. Now, for supports and stuff, a lot of times it's not, but for DPS, it can be significant. Like, obviously, if you're going to be a budget DPS, you want to be a 3-star. Like, absolutely, because DPS stat lines matter the most, especially if you have crit skills and things like that, right? You really want to multiply that. So being a 3-star is by far the best. And for budget, like supports, then it doesn't really matter because sometimes it's actually good for them to have less health, depends. Sometimes it's good for them to have lower team cost. But like you can easily afford for your DPS to be a 3-star, right? That's never going to be a problem. So there's no reason for them to be a 1 or a 2-star. Like it's sad to say, but 1 and 2-star budget DPS is just not a good, it's just inferior to 3-star. Now you have units like Kojiro and stuff that have such good toolkits that they can keep up, but I mean seriously, when you look at the budget DPS, the best ones are all 3-stars, all of them. And every like class, it's always a 3-star. Babbage, Ushi, Hunterface, Ku, Robin, even David now, even though he's kind of a support, but he's got good damage too. Those are all 3-stars. But when it comes to support, Asclepius is super good, but I mean Chen Gong, Hans, that kind of stuff, that keeps up just fine, and oftentimes is better, right? So for support, it's pretty easy for like the top dogs for budget to be bronze, but for DPS, it's all silver. Can't hear you over my Mozart DPS. Yep. What a cool guy. Mozart animation update win, though. What do I summon for this? Oh man, I think we have another annoying giant ghost coming up. Let me think. I mean, really, coup, but we don't want to summon a 3-star. If I'm going to summon a 2-star, what do I want for this? You know what? We're going to do Shakespeare. We're going to be brave. We're going to stick to the Shakespeare versus ghosts and that kind of thing. Hans, I guess? Either that or Qingong. I could, you know what? We could do it again. The classic. And then we transition to our best stuff at neutral, I think. I would like to work George into this team, though, because I want Bond. We can get away with... I mean, David is our best at neutral, I would say, but I think we can get away with not having him. Oh, I'm doing it. Aggressive crash. Why is my Qingong still in P1? You gotta be kidding me. I got NP5 Proto Coup, but I got NP1 Qingong. This game, man. That irks me. That limits his DPS so much. He doesn't have foe items. He's level 45, right? I actually am so looking forward to a Shakespeare animation update. It's actually one of the ones I'm looking forward to the most in terms of what they could do with it. Now, they're probably going to disappoint me, but with what... he could be like dressing up in the different costumes and stuff. It'd be fucking amazing. And when you look at what his abilities are lore-wise, it is just... there's no limit to what you can do with his animations. So I really hope they put in some effort and, you know, make it good, but they probably won't because he's a male and he's a bronze and everyone already has him in P5. There's no way they can monetize him, so they're just, you know, I think they'll probably phone it in at least somewhat. But, you know, they did the Caligula's was great, right? So now, however, making Caligula's look really good was easier than the amount of effort they'd have to put in to make Shakespeare's like really live up to what he is. So I just don't think there's any way Shakespeare's is going to be amazing. Now I think it might be good, right? But I really doubt it's going to live up to a... I mean, he's William fucking Shakespeare, right? And again, when you look at his lore abilities, the potential there is just incredible. They did pretty well with Hans for like how little effort they put into it ultimately. You know, there's not a lot of animation going on, but they still made a lot of good references and they respected what he does lore-wise decently well. And Hans is kind of different than Shakespeare, where like it's pretty easy to make Hans feel like he should lore-wise just through what his gameplay effects are, really. I think they do that really well. And then his animations do still reference a lot of his works and stuff. Pretty good. The thing is, I am not trying to, like, I'm not going after Hans in real life or in game here, but there is just no comparison between Hans and William Shakespeare. There just isn't. And like, I'm not hating on Hans Christian Andersen here. You know, he's got some really, you know, cool works and stuff. But Shakespeare is just infinitely more impactful on the English language, on the development of literature, and just being famous. It's just, there's so much more there. And then not just that, not only is William Shakespeare just like the most famous writer on the planet, and, you know, is one of the top contributors to the English language and the development of it, just what his abilities are lore-wise has so much potential in what you could do with his animations and his gameplay. And it's just, I think it's a travesty. Look, I gotta be clear here, I'm actually not that big of a William Shakespeare fan when it comes to just his straight literary works and stuff. You know, I don't really like Romeo and Juliet and Hamlet. I really don't care about them that much. And I actually know more about them than most people because a lot of my family is actually in the theater business. But yeah, I've never really cared about a lot of that stuff. It's just not really my cup of tea. Now, I don't hate it either, but it's just never really been my cup of tea. But even though I am personally not the biggest William Shakespeare fan, I'm not a heathen, right? I'm not a delinquent here. It is obvious his contribution to the English language and to the development of literature and stuff is just unparalleled. It's insane, and he's the most popular, writer on the planet. So he deserves so much more than he got in FGO. Now, thankfully, the writer in APOC actually gave a shit. Right? The person that actually designed his look and then made his lore abilities and then the way he was written in the APOC books. Now, maybe not the anime, but in the books, I think they had total respect for what Shakespeare was. And, they did a really good job. I think they did a really good job with him. So that's all fine. But FGO gave him very vanilla gameplay, and it's just, it's way behind a lot of the other budget supports these days. And his animations obviously are some of the worst ever. Arguably the worst ever. And it's very disappointing just having, and then his bio, look at William Shakespeare's bio in Fate Grand Order. Like, go look it up. Go look up his bio, like on NA or on the wiki or whatever. It is pathetic. William Shakespeare, and he has got like his My Room lines. He barely says anything. He has like really vague, generic lines when you bond up and ascend him and all that stuff. It's super crap, right? It's like nothing. Meanwhile you have Say, who just has like paragraphs after paragraph. It's ridiculous, dude. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's William fucking Shakespeare, right? Like, they could spruce that up a bit, right? Have some goddamn respect here. Yeah, and there's a lot of old servants that have terrible, like, My Room lines and bios. Like, has anyone looked at Atalante's My Room lines? Now, they've actually added some as the years have gone on, and so it's better, but they've never, like, adjusted her Bond lines and Ascension lines and stuff like that. I mean, it's just nothing. It's like she's not saying anything, right? There's no characterization happening, and it's because they didn't read the books, the APOC books back then, and so they didn't want to accidentally characterize the characters incorrectly. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's pretty obvious that's the case when it comes to APOC characters, because if there's a difference, a lot of the early characters didn't put as much effort into, but there is a very noticeable difference between the day one APOC characters and then like the day one original FGO characters that they could write whatever they wanted and it wouldn't be a problem, right? Like, they were just beating around the bush to not write anything for the APOC characters. Yeah, Mordred's bond lines aren't that good either. They're a little bit better because I'll at least give them this for Mordred. They were still beating around the bush and trying to not overly characterize her. But what little is there is still in line with like her character and like some of her self-conflict bullshit and daddy issues and all that. So they didn't like fuck anything up, but it's still really bare bones, right? And they did not do a lot with it. And that's pretty much all of the early APOC characters. Thankfully, though, as of like London, the non-APOC characters they did start putting more effort into, and they are better off. But yeah, I think a lot of the old servants, they need to just redo their bios and their My Room lines, like just completely redo them. Like it's stupid, right? Like there's no reason for like Shakespeare's My Room lines to be that barren and same. And look at this is slightly different because she was an alter to a character that didn't exist yet, but. Lancer Artoria Alter, her bio and My Room lines are so bad. I mean, they are so bad. She does not even have a character. She had no character until her character material book. Her character material book, added in a little bit of stuff, like the Wild Hunt and all that nonsense. But like her actual role in London and then her actual bio, there is no character there. None. Like, there's nothing. There's literally nothing to go off of. And it's just pathetic. Like, it's absolutely pathetic. I wish I'd leveled up Hans' skill more, because then it'd be 200% right now. Like an art chain. Want the bigger attack up. That would make a great FGO update where they just got the voice actors back in, redid a lot of the voice lines for the. They have the money. This game is makes so much money, right? Because it's just lame that if your favorite, character, like let's say your favorite bronze is Charlotte or Blackbart, they have totally acceptable, reasonable My Room lines and bio and all that stuff, right? But if your favorite bronze or favorite character even happens to be Shakespeare, Leonidas, any of those, they don't have anything, right? They're just so barren. Oh. I did not realize we were fighting a boss right now. Oh boy, is my back row not good. Kinda wish I didn't yeet Hans like that, but too late now. Alright, Shakespeare, let's see what you can do here. Get that rank 1 Chen Gong Buster up. We might fail this because of my back row. My back row is pretty unapplicable to this fight. The good news is we get a Brave Chain. I mean, unironically, Shakespeare's gonna have to carry us on DPS here. Okay, good start, good start. Ooh, look at that! 22k! Alright! There we go! Shakespeare's showing up, and like we can battery ourselves again. Brave Chain or get the Shakespeare card in? Probably get the Shakespeare card in. Come on, crit, crit, crit. Nah. I had a dream there. He had the crit up from Hans. Ooh. I want Chen Gong to at least live to use his second skill, so I'll heal him. I think we got this. Yeah, I saw they added a new unit to Arc Knights, and the code name is Passenger, and I was like, that's an FGO class. Now, if he doesn't land the insta-death, I should taunt Shakespeare and use Shakespeare's second skill. That'd be very good. But if he insta-deaths, I should taunt, like, Chen Gong. Could taunt Protoku, that way I can save my battery. Let me think. I could wait 2 turns to use Shakespeare's NP to get his Buster up again. I think I may only ever NP 1 more time. And if that's the case, then I might as well put it on Chen Gong. Because then I don't need the battery. Alright, just don't insta-kill me. And hey, if Chen Gong can live and get his NP, that'd be really good. Okay, no death. No high hit count. Come on, look at him doing double Buster. You don't even have 2 Buster cards. That looked really strange because of that. Well, nice to know that they didn't make a BM combo for Curse Arm. That would have been pretty wild if they had, actually, because there'd be no way that a player could have seen it, because again, you don't have 2 Buster cards. Has that ever happened? Has there ever been a hidden animation where they did a follow-up Buster attack on a unit that didn't have a second Buster card? I wouldn't shock me if there's one unit out there like that, but it's pretty rare, because most units have at least 2 Buster cards. And normally you've got an animation for like Arch Buster Buster or something like that. But I do wonder if that's ever been a thing. Wait, Enkidu? Does he seriously? Really? I need to fight an enemy. I need to fight an enemy Enkidu. I've never noticed if he has a hidden animation like that. Really? He does? That's crazy! Shit, is there anything that we have where we could fight Enkidu? I'm trying to think if I got like an interlude or something where I could fight him. Well, no, it's that one Enkidu already has, though, because you can already see that, though. Because on Enkidu, you can just, you just do Buster like quick, or you do quick Buster, right? So that we've already seen. I'm talking about, how do I explain this? I think some people in my chat don't know what a BM combo is. Okay, so for like example, if you were playing practically in a team setting, so okay, let me explain this. So this is why like on Enkidu it doesn't count, because we've seen all of Enkidu's Buster animations, because in team play, right, you might do St. George's Buster card, and then Enkidu's quick card, and then Enkidu's Buster card. So because it's not a solo, you have a reason for for Enkidu to do a quick or an art attack before his Buster, right? So you'll see Enkidu's other Buster animation, where be it team or solo, you're probably going to open with your Buster animation, and you'll see his other Buster, right? However, there are units like Robin Hood and Arthur and things like that that have like animations that you only see by doing a combo that you would never do under any circumstance for any practical reason, right? Like with Enkidu, you will practically see either of his Buster animations, right? Because he's got a long range and a short range one, and there's reasons why you might do a combo that would enable either one of them. I mean, hell, Enkidu might do his NP and then quick Buster, right? Or he might do Buster quick, you know, things like that. But there are like Ku. There is no reason for Ku to do Art Buster, and that actually gives you a hidden third Buster animation that you could never see otherwise. But you would never see it in team play either, right? Because if you did both of Ku's Buster attacks and someone else did a Buster attack or something, Ku is just going to do his typical long range one and then a short range one, and that's it, right? There's just no way in a solo or a team setting that Ku would ever do a combo that would get you that hidden animation of his, right? And even more so for Robin. I actually forget what Robin's is. I think because Robin has to do something pretty specific. It can't be art. It's not as simple as like art Buster or quick Buster. It has to be something very specific. I think is it quick art Buster? It's something like that. I know it's like Robin's is like the most specific one ever because like Ku can do quick Buster or art Buster, like either one. You know, Arthur can do art Buster or quick Buster. And things like that. But yeah, Robin's is like, does anyone in chat remember? I know got a few Robin fans out there that knew it last time. Yeah, it's either no, I don't think it's AVQ. I think it's like AQB or QAB or something like that. It's QQB or QBA. I should use Robin here in a second and show it up, because I bet you there's people in my chat right now that have never seen the animation that I'm talking about. Like, they've just never seen it. I think loads of people have never seen Robin's, like, hidden animation. So what I'm getting at, like with Enkidu, it doesn't count, because Enkidu has 2 Buster animations, and you will easily, through normal gameplay, you will see either one of those Buster animations. What I'm wanting to know is if there's a unit that is like Ku, where he has a hidden third Buster animation. The thing is, Ku can get his third Buster animation, because you can do Art Buster or Quick Buster. But there could be some units that only have 1 Buster card that have an extra animation that you just can't, there's no way for the player to see it, right? Because their deck doesn't allow them to enable it. Now, it'd be unlikely because DW normally cuts corners and tries to make as few animations as possible, but there could be a situation where like a unit they were working on was originally going to be Buster, Art, Quick, and then they changed their deck to something else. And then so they have an excess animation that you can find through a BM combo, or you can't find through a BM combo, but the enemy, because the enemy is allowed to do combos you can't. I mean, the enemy, for God's sakes, can do BBB on Ku, right? And then you get Ku's third Buster animation that way and stuff. So I'm wondering if there's an enemy that only the enemy can get their extra one. So there's a couple of people have said Tam. Unfortunately, I don't have, off the top of my head, I can't think of a stage where we could test that. But next time I see Tam, we'll try to find that. Yeah, it would not. Fuma. I might have a stage with Fuma actually. I'll have to look around, but yeah, I want to look into that like going forward when bosses are available and challenge quests and stuff, and see if we can ever, you know, sneak. Because some of the characters I wouldn't know, and I don't know Tam's animations by heart. So if the boss Tam did an animation that the player can't get, I wouldn't notice. Yeah, I've seen that on Say, I think, where, but I don't think you need the AI to do that one. So what are you saying though, Say, is that her other Buster animation from her other stages can be used on the other stage if the AI does like BBB or something? Is that what you're saying? Because there's no way for the player to do that. That's not quite what we were getting at though, but that is interesting because that is something that only the AI could do. So I'm guessing what's happening there is they're basically recycling the animation in case the AI does decide to do a combo like that. Do I just... Wait, why did I NP on Shakespeare? It's because I lost track of what I was doing when I was talking to chat there, so I forgot I was waiting for the Buster up. Well, let's see if we get his NP again. Oh, that was a mistake, because then I should have saved Shin Gong's thing because I could have gotten the extra 10% battery again. Pretty sure Ivan's chest laser you can get by doing like Art Buster Buster or something like that. Generally, if there's an animation that you can't get, it would be a unit that has a single Buster deck, and then for some reason you have a third Buster animation. Because that's how it happens at like BM combos at normal, is when you have a unit with 2 Buster animations, but there's a hidden way to get a third one, right? You have to do an impractical combo, but that's how it already exists. So I'm kind of wondering if there are units out there that have a third Buster animation, but they only have a single Buster deck, so there's just no way for the player to do it. I might need to do Invulnerability now. If only I could Art Chain. It's just Shakespeare might die. Well, RNG, let's go. No kill Shakespeare. Yeah, there are some BM combos that aren't as simple as like ABB or QBB, but that's normally what it is. But there definitely are a few other oddballs. I actually love, dude, I have so much fun when there are, this is why okay. One of my favorite things in FGO is when there's an animation update, and, you know, I just off stream on my own, I just boot up the game, right, and I just, you know, I go through their animations, and I just, like, you know, solo a stage or two with them, and you kind of just see what they got, and you see if, like, you know, how cool the attacks are, then you find any weird combos and stuff, like Spartacus's art card and things like that. I have so much fun doing that, but it's really sucked for me over the years because almost none of the characters that I really want animation updates for have ever gotten one. Like the closest would be like Gilgamesh, but Gilgamesh's animations are kind of, you know, what you expect. They're great animation update, but it's not like you're not seeing anything new with Gilgamesh. You're kind of expecting and wanting Gate of Babylon spam, and that's what you get, right? But so like Ku got an animation update, but it was so old and it wasn't really a good animation update quality wise. So that didn't really count. And then like Sanson's never gotten one. Mozart and Shakespeare never got one. Tesla never got one. Darius never got one. Billy never got one. Like so many, Leonidas never got one, right? A lot of the units that I like really want to, you know, see new animations for, you know, Proto-Ku, all that, they've never gotten one. So I've almost never had an animation update that's like, oh, that's one of my units that I really care about, right? I got them grailed to 100, and you know, that's like never happens. It's normally things. But yeah, I'm, you know, like Blackbeard, you know, I'm happy you got an animation update and all that, but you know, it's not like one of my absolute favorite characters or anything. So, and then some of my other favorite characters will like never get an animation update because they were released and have good animations to begin with, right? Like Achilles and things like that. George is close. I will say I was very happy to see a George animation update, but it's not. I don't like George as much as I like Proto-Ku, Tesla, Sanson, Billy. You know, it's not quite on that level. But I mean, there's been plenty of animation updates that I was like, oh yeah, that unit really deserves it, and I'm really happy, right? And there's also just been units that have really surprised, like Caligula. I have never been more surprised by an animation update in my life than Caligula. Dude, it was super late at night. I was staying up way too late, and that was such a good time though. I remember I had tea, I was waiting for the update to hit, and I think that was with Boudica, and I think I actually saw Boudica's first. And I did not really care for that one. But I remember booting up a stage, I think it was a Salem stage, and I didn't have very high expectations for Caligula's animation update, to be honest. And oh boy, that was something. That was 10 out of 10, right? I really enjoyed that. Yeah, Lancelot, that was one I did really like. I do like Lancelot a lot. I don't like him as much as Sanson, Billy, Ku, Proto-Ku, Tesla. You know, he's not up there with them, but I do really like him, and his animation update was fantastic. So that one I was very happy with. I was very happy in terms of it was just good, right? They just did such a good job with it. I was very happy about it. But Lancelot is not one of my top, you know, absolute favorite characters, but he is really high, so. But yeah, Caligula really surprised me that, you know, he's not one of my favorite characters. I like him more now because his voice actor does such a good job. But he's never really been one of my favorite characters. And, you know, I didn't think he would care. Because he's a brute, he's a male, he's an old unit, he's, you know, FP summon. So I was like, man, they're not going to put any effort into Caligula, right? And then it was awesome. And then his voice actor just killed it. I mean, his voice actor just... a lot of the old units, they don't always actually get, like, new voice lines. That's actually pretty common when they do animation updates for old units. They might get, like, one new voice line, maybe. But Caligula got a lot. Like seriously, Blackbeard, I think he really only got new voice lines for his costume. I think his regular animations, he only got like one new voice line, like not that different. Where Caligula, they redid a lot of his voice lines. He got a lot of new ones, and they're really good. So yeah, that was pretty great. I'm actually just I'm really surprised that Lancelot's animations were as good as they were, because when you can, I don't even get it. I don't even get it because I care about animations a lot. I find they're fun and they're cool, and I like the animation process for, you know, anime, video games, and everything, 3D animation, 2D animation. I love that stuff. So I pay a lot of attention to the animations. Y'all probably have noticed that. People that have watched me for a while, you know, I pay a lot of attention to how animation updates are done and just how the animations in general are done. And not just in FGO, just in everything. And so I over the years, I've just really paid attention, and I've noticed it's very common that when they do animation updates to old units, they don't put as much effort into them as they do when they make a brand new unit of the equal rarity. Right? If they make a brand new 3-star, they generally will put more work into that, you know, more quality into that, you know, more different, you know, they reanimate the body parts more times and things like that. They do that stuff for new units more than they'll do it for an animation update. And so something I was been really surprised by was like Canis is a new 4-star, right? And they really did not put effort into that one. No, I know Canis is a cool character and everything, but her animations kind of suck. They did not reanimate her very many times. You know, just pretty low effort there, and like her buster attacks are really crappy. She has a generic, you just leap in buster, right? 3-hit buster attack, but none of her buster attacks, she actually hits them 3 times. None of them. They're all 1 hit, and the 3 hits just happen throughout the 1 hit. All of them. She has the leap in, where she just does like almost a day 1, you know, buster leap in attack, and just all 3 hits happen for the 1 hit. She does the like water blast, and it's just 1 water blast, and all 3 hits happen. And then she has her like hidden one where she does like the big you know, upward slash, but again, all 3 hits happen in 1 slash. You know, pretty lazy. They did not like really ever reanimate her back leg, right? So it looks pretty awkward when she moves around. Stuff like that. So then you have Lancelot, also a 4-star, right? Canis, new 4-star. Lancelot, old 4-star. They put way more effort into Lancelot's animation than they did Canis. Now, Lancelot's animations are really good, but it's not the most effort they've ever put into an animation set, right? They still don't like reanimate his body parts as much as some other units and things like that, but they still put more effort into it than a lot of the other units out there. Again, especially Canis, where like he has 3-hit buster just like she does. You know, they both have 3-hit busters, but she only ever hits 1 time. But Lancelot always hits, he does 3 unique hits for each of his hit count, right? Way more, you know, effort and style there. So that would surprise me, because they generally don't do that for animation updates for old units, but they did for Lancelot, and yeah, I'll take it. Okay, well, we super win now because we have 3 NPs. I think Shakespeare got that with the double buster up there, but in case he doesn't, got Proto Coup, and then if somehow that didn't kill, we'd have a double overcharged Qingong NP. Yeah, I saw that with Galatea. Overall, they did okay with her animations, I would say, but she's definitely not like the most effort they've ever put into a 5-star. Because 5-stars normally get the best treatment. Again though, except for animation updates, there's quite a few 5-stars that got animation updates that they really did not put effort into, where they like barely reanimate their body parts, where they have like maybe like one, like they have 2 arms and 2 legs that they just rotate between, and that's it. And some of them I don't think even have that many. I've seen a few 5-star animation updates where like their back leg is never reanimated, like Scav. I don't think they ever reanimate Scav's back leg. I'll have to check, it's been a while, but I don't think they ever do. I think they might reanimate her front leg like once. But yeah, so they barely do. Scav's animations suck, honestly, in terms of like, some of the ideas behind them are fine, but like the implementation of them are all lazy. Like they basically never reanimated her. They basically drew her 1 time and then just did paper mache for every single attack. And it's just, all of her attacks, it's so obvious that they're going out of their way to not have to reanimate her body parts. It's obvious. And yeah, same for Okita. The thing about Okita is she never got a true animation update. Like, I'm serious, she's never gotten it. She just got the ones that they already had. So basically you had early Okita that was better than day 1, but nothing great. And then she got her first animation update that all they did was like touch up her original animations. They didn't actually redo them. And then her other animation update, they just did that again. So yeah, she is in a really weird spot, and it sucks because I don't think she's ever going to get a proper animation update where they just redo everything. Because they're like, oh, it's good enough. All right, give me 1 second, chat. I need to get water, and then we'll try to let's get through these damn stages. I want to fight Mordred. All these freaking Hassan fights. And oh man, there is such a thing in FGO when they do not animate a character very much. They try to compensate with particle effects. That is so common. Like look at Scath. They don't really animate her at all, right? All paper mache, and there's particle effects everywhere. They just like shove particle effects in there. And then you've got was it Ares or whatever from Fate Requiem? You know, they didn't reanimate her like at all. She's got like the broken knee because they didn't. I can't even believe that. They ever do a drop kick and they don't change the way her leg is facing, her back leg. So it's still facing sideways and she's doing like an axe kick in the air. It looks so stupid. She's literally breaking her knee when she does it. It's so fucked up. But yeah, she got particle effects everywhere. You know, her extra attack is just a giant, you know, laser beam and stuff like that. They do that a lot whenever they're kind of being lazy and they're not reanimating their different body parts. They just like, oh, look how flashy, you got shiny everywhere. So yeah, it kind of sucks. Not much choreography going on there. All right, so Assassin again. I wonder if this is going to be a similar kind of setup where the Assassin is the actual fight and not the Berserkers. This was if that's the case, what do I do then? That means George is horrible, but I do want George's bond. Let's do... That's decent, okay. Do on death for George. Probably don't kill Hans on wave 2 though. There are some units where particle effect spam makes sense and it works okay, but a lot of times it's just like style over substance. And I don't mind particle effects when they're mixed in with animations that are still, you know, good or fit the character. A good example is Gwaine, right? Gwaine has a lot of flame effects, although some of those are, I'm shocked. I don't know what's going on. I guess they just hype Camelot stuff. Because Gwaine is one of the only units, and please correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think of any others actually. If there are any, they're probably very recent. But Gwaine is like the first unit that has particle effects that are not 3D renders. And some of them are. There are some particle effects in Gwaine's animations that are 3D renders, but some of his like flame effects are actually drawn. They're 2D effects, which look way better. And I was shocked that they did that because again, he's not a new unit, he's an old unit, and you know, he's a 4-star and you know, so on and so forth. But yeah, they actually drew some of his flame effects. Yeah, Burgess might too. They might have shared some of that stuff. And maybe that's why they made it, actually. That's kind of disappointing if that's the case. But yeah, most particle effects are just 3D renders of stuff, you know, 3D effects, not, you don't make, you know, draw 2D effects. Yeah, Gwaine and Lancelot had some decent effort put into them. Tristan didn't have as much, but you can kind of justify it, you know, Archer, sit back and shoot stuff, so. I don't think DW is the one that has a thing for Camelot stuff. I think it's just Type Moon. Yeah, I like Tristan's NP. Although I've seen multiple people that don't like Tristan's NP. Like I know a few streamers and whatnot that don't like Tristan's new NP. Well, I like it just fine. I think it's pretty cool. I do love when they do animation updates, though. It's really hype. I always really enjoy it. Especially when they're not disappointing. Like Blackbeard's was pretty good, right? Blackbeard's is not like 10 out of 10. It's not like Caligula's or something, but it really fit the character. I was very happy with it. I really enjoyed that. And it's been really fun using him ever since then. Uh-oh. Well, I could have killed it right now if I had used Hans's third skill in Shin-Gong earlier. I could triple NP and just win. We should be okay. Oh, look at this. I get to taunt Shakespeare with his invulnerability, and we're guaranteed to not take any damage if we don't kill them all. Actually, Shakespeare's kind of good for this. I honestly don't know why we don't have a Leonidas animation update yet. It's crazy. With the Babylonian anime, it's crazy. But they confirmed in an interview something that I have speculated for a long time. I've said for a long time that like they like to try to sync up buffs and animation updates with units being relevant in the story or an event story. And they confirmed that in an interview, and they said that's exactly what Type Moon does. You know, units are more likely to get an animation update. And the thing is, this is what's messed up, is, and I've speculated on this as well, and that seems to be the case, that what they said in that interview. Now, what I'm about to say, they didn't directly say in the interview, but I think you can infer it from what was said. So they did say that, you know, buffs and animation updates are decided by Time Moon and are generally tied to, you know, the character being relevant and hype again because they're in the story or whatever. But that doesn't always happen, because they also said in the interview that, you know, a lot of new characters being added will slow down their ability to do animation updates, or they basically don't always get around to the stuff that they want to do. And so I think what's going to happen is, like, Time Moon wants them to do a Sanson animation update for, like, that White Day event with Amakusa, right? Because Sanson was in that. Or they might want them to do a Sanson animation update in Salem. But because they don't want to hire people, apparently, and so they're like behind on just doing the animations for Abigail and what was it, like Queen of Sheba and stuff like that was added, so they didn't get around to doing Sanson, right? So, and I think, and what happens is when they miss their opportunity like that, they don't revisit it. They don't, like, unless they're like they almost finished it. I legit think this is what happened with Caligula. After what they said in that interview, I absolutely think this is what happened with Caligula. That Type Moon wanted them to do a Caligula animation update for Lost Belt 5. They did some of it, and they didn't finish it, and they put it off for later, and that's why he got an animation update for, like, no reason out of nowhere down the road. And that's also why his was better, because they worked on it twice. They did, like, half of it, you know, during Lost Belt 5, they didn't finish it, and then they revisited it to finish it up later, and because of that, his total quality ended up being higher. I absolutely think that's what happened, and it lines up with what they were saying in that interview. But so yeah, it sucks though for like Sanson and other units where they're like, oh, this is their one moment, because a lot of servants don't get like the spotlight often. So when they have like Matahari was probably supposed to get one in the Maze event, but they didn't get around to it, and it didn't happen because again they don't hire enough artists, like clearly because their animation updates are slow as fuck. But anyway, so Matahari misses her chance because that was her one chance in the spotlight, and they're probably not going to put her in the spotlight again for a while, because she was in the Maze event, so then she won't get an animation update. Now, thankfully, they're running out of things to give animation updates to. I mean, there's still a lot, but I mean, she's gonna have to get one sooner or later. And the Maze event is pretty old now. But I mean, no, it's been 2 years. That's what I'm getting at. Matahari missed her chance 2 years ago, and she's had to wait all this time. And now it's been long enough that they might use Matahari again, right? Because it's been over like 2 years since the Maze event. So if Matahari pops up in a major way in a story, main story, or an event story, she could get an animation update again. But look how long they had to wait. They still don't have it, right? But because she was used in the Maze event, it's almost guaranteed that she's not going to get anything then for like another year or 2 years or 3 years. That's stupid, right? And that's what happened to Sanson multiple times over the 6 years of this game. All right, what do I summon here? Alright, we'll do Gareth again, but we'll give her an actual craft essence. Jolter, they have so planned it. I think just like with Little Big Tengu and Ushi, they're like, oh, mark a calendar. Jolter's gonna be a big part of this event or this story. That's when she gets the animation update. That's when she gets rated up. Make everyone roll for her coins. Like, it's gonna happen. I think they've already got it set in stone when she gets her animation update. The question is, will it be any good? Because Scath is really popular, and her animation update sucked. Although I don't think Scath is as popular as Jolter. I honestly think they're gonna do something crazy for Jolter. Like, they're gonna do a big event. She's a big part of it. She gets an animation update. She gets rated up. You know, she might even get another buff. Like, I think they're gonna do something to really push Jolter and try to get people to roll for like NP8 to get the coins unlocked and stuff. Because she's popular enough that it's gonna be easy for them to like get people on board like that. I think it'll be really easy for them to do that. Okay, Chen Gong does not really make sense here. Do I want a support though? Yeah, let's do that. Do that. What's another good thing at neutral? Definitely David. Okay, this looks pretty good. Alright, go get him. I don't know what they would do for like the idle rerun. They probably won't rerun it immediately because it's technically a collab event, and collab events normally they go like 2 years or so before they rerun it. So I don't know, they might not consider it like other collab events because it really wasn't a collab event, so maybe they'd add the costumes that they didn't add in before. Dude, that was such a dumb event. If they had just made it a normal event, it would have been fine. But they added so many costumes, and then they added it to like a bunch of units that have day one animations. You know, they gave Serenity an animation or a costume, but no animation update, and they gave Joan of Arc a costume, but no animation update. So it looks awful. Like, I don't. It's crazy, dude. Because even though they have to draw the costume anew, they rig it with the rigging of the original model. So whatever it looks like, it has to match the proportions and the skeleton like structure of like the paper mache stuff that's going on. So it doesn't make the unit like, you know, quality, the model look any better. It's still gonna have the same proportions and all that kind of stuff. Because yeah, they don't make unique rigging for the costumes. They just copy paste what's already there, and they might make like a new animation or two for like a skill animation and stuff. I think the reason Ishtar doesn't have a costume is because she has you know, Space Ishtar and all that kind of stuff, and they made 3 whole unique animation sets for Space Ishtar, so I think they wanted people to roll the Gasha again. I haven't, Beastly, can you send it? Because this day and age, company logos in this day and age, man, it's a trip. That looks so bad! What, dude, so JonTron made a video a while ago, I remember, and it's completely accurate. I don't even know why. It just has something to do with like the mindset in big companies. Lost, are you here? Because Lost works for one of those big companies. I really want to know. I really want Lost's take on this because he works in this field. For some reason, these big companies over the last like 10 years have just been constantly making their logos more like that, right? And JonTron made a video showing like all these logos over the years and how they just slowly become like overly simplified, and they're like trying to make sure a monkey can recognize it, right? I don't know if they just think their audience is becoming stupider, or I don't get it. But every time I see a major company redo their logo, they always make it dumber, and they make it like, you know, way plainer, and it is awful. It is truly awful. I don't get it, and it's so universal, because the thing is, it's not just like 1 or 2 companies. It is basically every major company on the planet. And when that kind of thing happens, it normally means there's been like some market research done. And so, you know, their big, you know, marketing branch is always going to know that information and always like, oh, you know, simpler is better. Simpler is better. You got to make the logo simpler, right? You cannot have that many companies doing the same thing like that where it's not something like that. And sadly, I don't think Lost is here, which really sucks because I really want his take on this. But yeah, if you look up like the history of logos for major companies, they always become more and more simplistic like that, and it's just stupid. Oh, it's so disappointing. There used to be some damn good logos out there too, and now it's just like this, just garbage, just such garbage. It reminds me of what's happening. I talked about this last stream, and I think I made some people mad. I got a couple of DMs about this. People weren't, but I was saying Nintendo kind of sucks these days with like, you know, them dumbing down all their games. Like Kirby games have become so much stupider than they used to be. And then like the aesthetic. I cannot be the only one that notices this. Nintendo has made it's not just Mario games, because they're doing it with the new Kirby game coming out. This is like just a whole thing that Nintendo has been doing, where their aesthetic in their games is like way simpler, and it's like it's basically like real world aesthetic, very plain, and then like assets from the actual games like Mario or Kirby are just like dropped in. So you have like your default backdrop is like default Unity assets, you know, real world stuff, and then you sprinkle Mario enemies and like objects like blocks and stuff into it. That's like Nintendo has been so about that. Like Mario Odyssey, it's not just Mario Odyssey though. There's been like some of the like the more 2D games that they've made more recently. They do the same fucking thing. I can't keep track of all the Mario games, but there was like a Mario game I was playing with Tusk the other day. It was like co-op, and it was like 2D and 2.5D, and it was the same fucking thing. And then like the new Kirby game, same fucking thing, where it's like, you know, oh, it's like simplistic real world look, and then random Kirby assets just dropped into it like out of place. I hate it. It's one of my least favorite aesthetics I've ever seen in my life. It's unbelievably lazy, and it's kind of the same thing with the logos, where it's like overly simplistic, barren, just, ugh, I fucking hate it, dude. It's made me really dislike a lot of like Nintendo stuff, because it just looks like dog shit. And it's just lazy. It literally looks like they're taking default Unity assets and they just sprinkle in old Mario assets into it, right? I doubt that's what they're doing, but that's what it fucking looks like, and it's awful. You know, when I saw the new Kirby game look like that, I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I was like, fucking Kirby's doing this now? Alright, can we like not have anyone die to this last Chimera, please? Trying to like blow it up here. I do 40k. Alright, let's do this. Damn it, I didn't kill it. Well, hopefully, see, if I knew I was gonna kill it, I actually would've... What was that? You had... Oh. What is the statistics on this, right? So he could attack or buff, and if he decides to attack, he has 3 different targets, and he attacks 3 times, and all 3 times on the same target. Like, what are the odds of that? But yeah, if I'd known that was gonna happen, I would've done my counter-attack thing. She had her guts, so it would've been okay. Okay, I guess we do this now. Do I wait 1 turn? We're gonna lose the attack buff. I think Protoku NP's now them, and then she NP's next turn. Oh man, I should have been getting Stheno NP. I literally could have just used 1 quick card or 1 art card over those turns, and she could have NP'd and done the defense down. Actually, we just NP now. We can just kill it. It's fine. It's a berserker with 173k. Like this ain't Gwaine. We don't need that long-term min-max value. I had so much fighting Gwaine yesterday though. That was awesome. I really had to try. Like I really had to think about my setup and min-max it, and we barely won. Mordred is not going to be that hard. I mean, I could see me slipping up. You know, Mordred can wipe you very quickly if you make a mistake, but overall, if you can beat Gwaine, you can definitely beat Mordred. So I'm not too worried about that one. Taking longer to get to Mordred than I thought, although I'm kind of dicking around on these stages. I'm talking too much, chat. Using my mouth. God damn. She might... I guess she's not in chapter 6, so yeah, I guess we got a little bit more here. Hopefully it's the next chapter. It probably is. I have a feeling Assassin's going to be the main enemy here. What do I go with? I'll do Spartacus. I don't know why I got this idea of not using silvers, but I'm going to start using silvers when we, I think Babylonia, right? And then after we beat 1.0, then I'll just summon whatever I want. I feel like once we get to Lost Belt, we can summon whatever we want. But I'm trying to keep 1.0 challenging. I don't want to get carried by my supports, you know, I want it to be legit. Yeah, mouth breather over here. Okay. Protoku good. I probably want some kind of caster. Maybe this? Not that he's a good DPS, but I'm a little concerned here. I think I do that instead. I want this to be more damagey. I need another starting in PCE. Might actually use this. Yeah, I guess. It's pretty crap, but he does have art cards at least. Gives us like 5% art up. I'll get him. Probably not that hard of a stage, but you never know. We've gotten ganked a few times, so. Yeah, a single target DPS caster would be nice, but not to be. Babbage is so close though. Babbage does fill in the void pretty well. No, this is not Hades music. It is the original Binding of Isaac, and that's a whole drama. So like they had the original soundtrack for Binding of Isaac, and then like the creators had a hissy fit with each other, and then they like fired the guy that did the music, and they couldn't even though they own the license to the music, they just couldn't stand using his music anymore. So they got rid of it and replaced it. At least they were nice enough though to give him the license back. I think they. I'm not 100% sure they did that. Something like that happened. But anyway, but yeah, that music's not actually like in the Reborn and all that stuff, which is a shame. The original music is way better. The new music it's okay, but the original stuff was a lot more unique and fitting, I think. I have some Hades music on this playlist though. I need to play Hades again. I haven't played it in a very, very long time. That game's excellent. I love that game. Very actiony, very satisfying combat system, and it's not as hard as Dead Cells. So, and normally that would be a bad thing, but Dead Cells is just so fucking hard that you know, it's nice to have something that's also hard but not that hard, right? Although I do love Dead Cells. I love Dead Cells to death. That's a great game. My only issue with Dead Cells is it's a little repetitive to stream because it is really hard and you can just get deleted and you go back to the beginning and then the beginning is same-o. There's not as much I feel like a fresh run in Hades is more fun than a fresh run in Dead Cells, and it's because Dead Cells is a lot less RNG and like it's a lot less random. You know, the structure of Dead Cells is less, what do you call it? You know, roguelike. It's more structured, and that actually in some ways makes it a better game. It actually does make some really good experiences and stuff. I love Dead Cells to death, but it is more repetitive, especially like the first half of it. So it's not the best stream game in my opinion. I think Hades is a much better stream game because it's more fresh, I think. But mechanically, I think Dead Cells is a pretty awesome game. Thank you for the sub. Marino. Oh boy, that's not right. Thank you for the 11 months. I appreciate it. Might need to help me with the name there. I don't really got that, but almost a year though. That's a long time, man. You know something is wrong with people when they support this stream for a year. I mean, what? Oh, so the artist had his own license before the falling out, so they probably wouldn't have given him the music then if they had a choice. I heard it was like pretty immature nonsense. Oh, hey, Lost. Were you here a second ago? Did you hear anything I said that I addressed to you? Because I don't think you did. Because I really want your opinion, but I don't want to repeat myself if you actually heard me. Let's see. What do I do here? Do I evade? I think I evade. No, I was making food. So, Beastly, if you're still here, can you link the new Namco Bandai logo? Can you link that so Lost can see it? Because this has just been a thing where, like, over the last 10 years, big businesses, you know, major corporations in all fields, food, tech, you know, you name it, they have just universally simplified their logos and made them look like ass. Like, it's like such a universal thing where large companies just, over the years, just keep overly simplifying and making it uglier and uglier. And it's so many companies, it's, you know, clearly like an in thing where, like, the marketing branches of these companies have got, like, some, you know, study that makes them think that's the way to go. And thank you, Take Two Legend, who resubbed yesterday. Thank you for the gifted sub to Persona. Oh wait, no, that's not Persona. Wait, to wait. This isn't the other Persona, is it? Person Man Thing. Yeah, that's not who I was thinking that was. But thank you for the gifted sub. Okay, I was really confused. I thought that was Persona for a second. I was like, wait a minute, did he change his name? I was like, what? Yeah, minimalism is my fave. Yeah, but it's not. It's like just like text or just like a box or like, you know, just like a, you know, less detail. Right? Like if you look at Firefox, you know, Firefox went from like having more detailed fox to then like just a shape of a fox, right? It's such a thing. So yeah, do you have any idea why that's like so prevalent in like these large companies? Because it's everything from, you know, just straight business, you know, trading companies to, you know, Dunkin' Donuts to, you know, I mean, everything. It's any, you know, Namco Bandai now apparently. Like it's just too universal for it to just be like a coincidence, right? Like something's got, you know, all these businesses thinking it's the way to go. Probably because like they think it's like more brand recognition, right? Like it's easier for idiots to be like, oh, I remember that thing, right? That would be my guess. All right, Spartacus essentially has his NP right now, so I can just do damage. Look at Arash not having his NP, so he can't Stella himself. This shouldn't be too bad. We don't really have a meta setup for this, but good enough. Let's see what Spartacus can do here. Too bad I didn't have Chin Gong out. I actually don't know if I want David to live, but if I do Protoku's NP first, we'll get the defense down for Spartacus, but I don't, it's only going to hit the archer, then that's not worth it. I bet there's some analyst somewhere who is justifying his job to the executives with data from changes like this. Also, publicity. If any publicity is good publicity. Yeah, I guess if you change your logo, it gets people talking about your company again. It's just so universal. It's not just companies changing their logo. It's companies changing their logo and always making it more simplistic and bland. And like shorter names, or like Dunkin' Donuts went to like Dunkin', right? And think like it's so constant. Okay, well, Arash is dead. The thing is, do I even want to kill Arash? Do I want to give Cursar more actions per turn? I mean, Arash probably does more damage than him, but he can cast Protection from the Wind, but he probably just does it at low health. I think I'll keep him alive for now. Not do as much damage to Curse Arm there as I would have liked. Think about how stupid the average person is, and then remember 50% are dumber than them. Yeah. Sadness. I guess I try to get David's NP. Ooh! A lot of crits here. Okay, Curse Arm time. If he insta-deaths Spartacus, we don't care because he has guts. I don't think I evade Dave. Well, David's at 71% though. Yeah, okay, I'll evade David. It's just so bad if David gets insta-killed. But it'd be bad if he just got NP'd vanilla. Like, if David just dies no matter what, it's bad. Because I really want his NP here. Good Brave Chain though with Spartacus. I would slow down David, but David could die, so fuck him. Oh yeah, I wouldn't hold your breath on a Spartacus emote. Okay. That was very fortunate for me. That was a crit, I could tell by the sound effect. There's PFA, oh, well, not quite PFA, but, wishes it was PFA. Let's see. Yes, NP gain. Good enough. Yeah, PFW. 9K! Of course it wasn't art, it wasn't quick, it was Buster. You fucking did Buster crit with crit damage up. Thanks, guy. All that NP gain for nothing. So much oof. Spartacus gets guts back in 2 turns. I wish I had saved that evade then. I could give Spartacus the evade here, and then he'd heal himself, and then heal from Hans, and then he could heal from his 3rd skill, and then his guts would be back. And then he'd get his battery and EMP again. That'd have been great. I guess I give it to Protoku then, because I'm not confident that Spartacus will live. Although Spartacus has a Brave Chain again. Do I just take that and not Hans NP? Nah, we'll get Protoku. I should have put Spartacus last. Yeah, Curse Arm wasn't get no David NPs in here, none of that. Well. Cursed Arm out for blood today. Now, if I wait a turn, Stheno, I don't understand how you fail biting someone, right? Like you're just, she's lost her touch. She's lost her touch. She's an old hag now, you know, she's the oldest sister. She's completely forgotten how to do anything, right? Can't fucking charm, can't fucking bite anything. God, just over the hill, past her prime. Call me toxic. She's the one fucking her job up. I think I NP net. Well, I can probably kill him. Okay, let's kill. We'll kill Arash here, and then we'll kill Curse Arm next turn. So I think we can kill Curse Arm if we have the defense down attack up. But we don't have her upgraded NP, so we'll see. Don't have the attack up either. Well, if he had cast Protection from the Wind here, we could have removed it, because Stheno removes buffs, which is actually really nice. But early game, there's not enough buffs to really worry about, so... So chat, not to go into too much detail, but I have been in a fight before where I did bite someone, and it was the right move, so that has happened. Hey man, you know, when, you know, it's in an actual fight, right? Not like a play fight or anything, you know, you gotta Gotta do what you gotta do, man. I got in a few fights when I was a teenager because I was a shit. Best way to put it, I think. I was looking for trouble for a while there. Most teens are. I had a abnormally bad young in years. I think it was not the best. Okay, I swear I'm googling it. When the hell do you fight Mordred? It's surely chapter 7 or 8. Like clearly. I'm hoping it's chapter 7. It's very soon. It is arrow 3 of this chapter. Okay. Now you fight her twice in a row. Just like Gwen. Except the first fight's a bit more real than Gwen's first fight, I think. Okay. All Berserker. I guess just Gareth again. That seems fine. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna give slightly cheating because we've been trying to avoid the super strong craft essences, but I just don't want to have to re-equip the craft essences so much. So casual golden sumo. Oh, how did that get there? Look at that attack stat. I don't know how that happened, chat. Who would have leveled that thing to 100? You know, we've been using like level 45 CEs for most of this. Honestly, this setup's probably fine for what we're doing. Either that or working some AoE, but I'm too lazy to do that, so... See, I had to specify though that if I had bitten someone that it was in a fight, you have to specify that, otherwise chat's just gonna make it weird, right? So that's why that bit of information was important. 205k. Okay, AoE would have been good. No NP gain there. Chat's gonna make it weird even if you specify. That's probably true. Fighting a losing battle over here. So I'm not hitting the 200k one because I'm hoping to just nuke it with NPs, so I'll just take out these ones. Okay. Theoretically, I could just do the evade in the guts, and she should live, but I could give her the evade from this. I mean, if one of them buffs, I don't need to do, like... Yeah, I'll just do the evade. Maybe a little risky here. Do I want the Buster Chain or the higher crit chance? I'll do Buster Chain. Peak value, let's go. For a new account, who do you think is better? Super Orion or Lucia? Who the fuck is Lucia? What? Luvia! Okay, I was like, who's that? That's like some Fire Emblem shit or something. Probably, I don't know. For super new, probably Luvia, just because rulers are broken. It's not even Lucina. Dude, there's a different Fire Emblem character that I can't remember her name now, but it's either literally Lucina or something very similar. But I remember one of the older Fire Emblem games has a different character who I think is way cooler than Lucina. I don't like Lucina very much from Fire Emblem, by the way. Like, she's kind of boring, but... Is it Lucia? Yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, she's cooler, but literally no one knows who she is because it's an older game, and because her name is so similar, now she's just like seen as like the copycat, when even though she's the older one. It's really stupid. Yeah, it's like Lucia, that's about right. But she was a way more interesting character. Like, Lucina is so fucking boring, dude. Anyway, and then I hate that she's better in Smash than Marth is. It's so stupid because she's just a Marth clone. Like, literally, Marth has been in Smash since Melee, and then they literally just copy-paste his moveset on Lucina, but then make it better. It's so dumb. Like, so fucking dumb. What are you gonna do, though? Alright, I think I do that. Ooh! Well, that was some damage. Not sure I even bothered healing that. I mean, I could heal her, and then if she doesn't die, then I could evade. It's just, there's a pretty... Well, they only have one crit up, though, right now. If you get normal attack, she'll live. Somebody should live here. I've only recently played Smash, like, at all. Like, when it first came out, I did not play it that much because, like, Smash Ultimate. I didn't enjoy it very much because I had to use, like, the what do you call it, Joy-Cons when they're put in, like, a controller thing, and that just sucked. And it was just, interfacing with the game was just so sloppy, and I couldn't get into it, so I did not really enjoy it at all. And then I didn't, bother like hooking it up and playing it again once I actually had a way to use a game controller. So only like 2 days ago have I played Smash, and like I feel like the first time in like, I don't know, 3 years or something. Let's see here. But you know, I've watched it and kind of kept an eye on it for a while, so I always kind of keep track of those kinds of games. Alright, bad things about to happen. Do I save David? I mean, we don't actually... Wait, I forgot to use Protoku's anti-beast damage that whole time. Oops. I mean, it's not like it's ranked up or anything, but definitely not the right play there. Imagine using Protoku against beasts and not using the anti-beast skill. Dude, I haven't seen that animation in so long. Because you normally try to kill chimeras really quick, so... And they don't get their NPs very quickly either. Sucks that he stunned us, though, because we could have just killed him right there. All things considered, that was okay damage. Woo! Thank you, defense buff. Also, the Chimera actually did not have its crit up, so it didn't do as much. I'm not working on the Trash Mob animation update video or animation video until they do a event that has a Mecha Nobu in it, the giant Mecha Nobu, because I don't want to work on it and then just be sitting around and waiting and waiting and waiting, and you know. So once I know that we get access to that, then I'll start recording everything else. Although I recorded the shark, right, because he wasn't in the game permanently, so I've got the shark's animations done. But yeah, as soon as I'll start working on it as soon as we get them. I cannot make a video like that without like the giant gold Nobus with the, you know, Shin Godzilla laser spam, right? It's just not right. It's way too good of an animation to not include in something like that. So as long as that and the shark is in, then I'm happy if everything else is just like the typical mobs. I kind of forgot some of the ones I was going to include though. I know we were going to do the Greek guys, the Bloodborne guys, the crocodiles. Maybe the wolf. I don't know. The wolf's default attack is stupid, but their NP is pretty good. Yeah, I'll probably put the wolf in. I mean, it literally took like 3 seconds. Oh fuck the monkeys! God, I don't even remember what the monkeys NP is. Thankfully, monkeys I don't think are available all the time, so it gives me a good excuse to not include them. Those little bastards. What's good here? Saber's good here. If the Lancer... I don't think Archer's gonna be that big of it, or Saber's probably not gonna be a big deal here. Could be an Enforcement Knight. If it is an Enforcement Knight, I should bring David, and we'll give him Cope Scope. Okay, this is alright. This will work out. Yeah, I guess I could record them on an A if I wanted to. I'm so looking forward to that video though. I think it'll just be a fun, unique thing. Like, that's something worthwhile, I think. Like how he just instantly crits me like that. Might as well get a little bit NP gain on Spartacus. If I would just rank up my skills, Siegfried would have his NP right there. Okay, this might just be a filler stage. I'm not sure there's even Enforcement Knights in this. We'll see. Wukong looking less and less likely every day, so not the best. I already have enough NP, so I guess it's just damage. See, the thing is, big companies, not just, you know, Time Moon and stuff, but like any game company, they don't actually care about pissing off certain regions if those regions don't like make them any money. But China is just too large of a demographic, so companies always will cater to it. Always, like always. And they'll also cater to North America as well, because that's a huge demographic as well. So like, those are the two, they try to balance the two, right? They generally try to keep, you know, large companies generally try to keep North America happy and China happy, and sometimes those are at odds to a certain extent, but they try to find a middle ground to try to like make as much money as possible. They're more willing to piss off NA though, because NA normally doesn't give you much backlash. Like at most they'll write you an angry review, right? But you're not gonna have like, you know, the US Congress like banning a video game because they portrayed George Washington as a ditzy blonde, right? Like that's not gonna happen. Where with China, it can. So there's just massive catering to China, and due to the situation like recently, I think Type Moon, I don't know, on the one hand you might think Type Moon wants to just like hands off and not do anything with Chinese servants at all now, but they still want that money. That's the thing, they still want that money from China, so they might just make, you know, things that are safe over there but still appeal to them. That's why a lot of companies put up with it, is because they want to appeal to China, because it's too much money to say no to. Okay, so it's 2 Saber. So we definitely were right to bring David. Let's see. I would like to wait to NP until David is here so we get the charisma and we can put all the buffs in one place. But there's a chance that Spartacus would die. He doesn't even have his guts up. I could cast his guts, then I waste the battery, though I probably won't need the battery. Okay, so we'll just cast it. I'd say the Lancer is not that big of a threat.
よし。まだです。守ります。マスター。
I should have NP'd right away. I should have NP'd right away. I forgot about the defense buffs. Now, Spartacus has armor ignore, but Siegfried does not. But that means we definitely give the attack buff from our Mystic Code here to Spartacus. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Neither of their overcharges matter. America is famous for their historical love of kings. Oh yeah, remember that King of America, yeah. That was surprisingly good, actually, overall. Honestly, I thought this might have been more of a slugfest, and we're gonna have to use David and everything, but not really. That was pretty good. And look at all this healing and evade and everything. I think this is the first fight with Mordred, which is not that hard, and then we fight her immediately again, and then you fight her way later. I think the first time you fight her, she doesn't have her gimmick. The second time you fight her, she does, but she does her extra attack. But then you go to the second wave and you fight her again. It's like a pseudo break bar. And then she does her real NP. And then when you fight her again way later in the story, she does her NP from the get-go. So the main fight with her is not for a little bit. Oh yeah, this is Mordred. I don't really the first fight here, I don't really remember what happened. I think she's just NP sealed here or something like that. Okay, yet again, we don't want to summon anything that is going to be too strong, so keep it to the bronzes. We could do a Rosh. No, fuck, a Rosh's Grail. Keep forgetting that. We'll just stick with Paris then. I don't really, like, Paris is not a character I really hype, so I'm kind of annoyed that we're using him so much. But he does fit the bill of being, you know, he's a key unit, you know, he doesn't suck. But he's certainly not carrying, right? And I don't really have other options, so. I don't think I think if the poll is if I'm gonna win or not, you should make it the next fight with Mordred, because I think the first one's really easy. And you might want to, because Mordred is not as hard as Gwaine, you might want to spice it up, like, will X live or something. I don't know, maybe I'll fuck it up. Maybe I'll fuck it up and die. You never know. I'm sure I'm sure there's someone out there that beat Gwaine and then lost to Mordred like on their first attempt, and they didn't one-shot Mordred. I'm sure that has happened. I think the first fight is with Enforcement Knights. I wonder if I could get Atalante's NP in a reasonable way. I don't even have her third skill. If I was gonna do that, oh boy, I don't know if that would work. I don't have her third skill. She has an upgraded NP, but I don't have it, so I'm not even sure she would kill. Let's not do that. Well, I mean, maybe I do that, maybe. Okay, you know what? We're gonna have some faith in the baby Atalante here. What do I do? I guess I give her this because she's gonna need the damage. I don't know if I'm making good decisions right now. I need another good CE, by the way. I'm really feeling that. Maybe I do that. Yeah, I'm thinking that's better. Mordred is not a dude, so Stheno's not as good, but she still has the drain and the defense down, the buff removal. Not a lot of buffs for us to remove, though. All of Mordred's buffs only last one turn. I don't think I have to worry too much. The next fight is the one I'm going to have to worry about. This one shouldn't be that big of a deal. Alright, just throw the archers at it. It'll be fine. Green, I'm gonna need you to throw real quick. I'm gonna try not to. The fact that if anyone bet against me, I'm sad because... Okay, those are a little tankier than I thought. Okay. Jesus, I wish I had Atalante's third skill. That would help on many levels. So the real issue is actually if they use their defense buff. Man, this part's going to be harder than Mordred. Arash would have been really nice here. He could have killed all of these on turn 1. Poi Poi, did you vote against me? You wouldn't do that. So when Atalante gets her art card, I could do Hans's NP and try to make an art chain. Means Hans though needs to get some kind of NP gain here. Thanks, guys. Okay, now you can stop. No, you can stop that now. That the one was enough. Thank you. Hey, look, she can art chain regardless. Fuck. I really want to do that guaranteed crit, but she doesn't have her third skill, so she's gonna need as many art cards as possible. Han's landing some buffs, alright. I like that. Good. Alright, chat, it is now time for NP1, level 40. No foe items, no NP upgrade, rank 1 first skill, Atalante NP. This is going to be absolutely glorious. I could remove the defense buff from that guy. I don't think well, I'd like to mark Mordred just for damage. Okay, well, I definitely do this. What is the play? I think we don't use it and we just focus on beating up the other ones. Alright, go get him, girl. Drop some arrows. We got the attack buff from Hans. Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's not good. That did not. Oh, really lucky on those crits, though. God damn. Shame we didn't have our third skill there. We got a lot of refund backs we had. Well, oh my god, the music is looping so hard. It's probably been doing that for a while. AC9, thank you for the resub for 5 months. Just passing by. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Okay. I kind of want to just use my Mystic Coat of it. Oh no, I don't think we're gonna really be able to line up our buff removal on Mordred. I doubt that's gonna work out because it only would work if she used her third skill. I mean, she might. Fucking 97%. If that skill was maxed, I think I would have gotten it. I can kill one of them, so that helps. So there's 2 NPs. What if I just don't... What if I don't cast anything? What if I have faith that... Because if I don't... As long as they hit Hans or Atalante, I don't really mind. It's only if they hit Paris that it's a problem. And if only one of them hits Paris, I can just heal it back. So what if I just don't cast anything? And I just save all my value for Mordred, right? And that's the greedy play. It's just that seems like a really stupid fucking idea. Well, no, you know, no, I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna be brave because I'll kill it with this crit and then I'll kill the other one with these crits. Clearly, chat, if you have crit up, attack up, it'll be great. And if I kill 2 of them, then it's like really in my favor. Oh my god, it actually worked. So Atalante's crits from the stars she made was more useful than her NP, I would say. Nobody died. That's actually shocking, and I kind of wish Hans had died, but how about that art down though? Gotta kill next turn, I think. Oof. That's a cool animation though. That gets in the video. That's what I'm saying. Look at that. And if he does, he can do it after his NP. And I've seen him do it before. It looks awesome because he's already close to them, and then he just puts the shield down and smacks them. So I'm gonna try to record one of those for the video. Is there a saber one of these in the Gwaine free quest? Because I don't want a shadow one. I need a nice vanilla saber. Enforcement Knight, there is? Okay, because I need like 1 enemy so he doesn't target switch. Go get that boss music. Alright, we're gonna do this right off the bat. We're gonna kill this guy this turn though, that's important. This is fine, we made good decisions. It's alright. Mordred got that cool armor, man. Alright. Oh, she does NP. I did not think she did that. I thought she didn't do that. Okay, it's probably her extra attack, though. I don't think she does her NP until the second fight. That's a little worrying, though. Good thing David gets a lot of value. I would love to wait to NP on Paris until we can remove a buff, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Are there any Paris fans out there in chat right now? Because if there are, you know, they're probably happy that he's murdering all the bosses. And I will say, I mean, he's been doing a pretty good job. Holy crap! We didn't even have the buff removal thing. Strong kiddo there. Yeah, she did the extra attack. The extra attack might one-shot us if we don't have like a defense buff, but yeah, it's way less threatening when it's single target. I can do his defense buff now, so the only one it would... Oh, Atalante still has the evade, so... Easy peasy. This is, like I said though, the first fight is not that big of a deal. It actually matters will be, kind of the next fight, but actually it's the last fight with Mordred that's the hardest. Where the final fight with Gwaine is actually easier. She picked the worst target for her NP every turn there. That was very unmeta. Alright. Easy. We fight her again though. This next fight with her is like the first time they did like a pseudo break bar. Like this next fight is when they were kind of dabbling around and trying to do something like that. 100k though. Chat, because Gwaine is harder than Mordred, Do we downgrade for Mordred? Do we use it? I don't even know what I would summon, but do we summon something a bit weaker than Paris? I'll leave it up to chat what they want. I'll do it either way. Like, it is funny to see how good Paris can do, but Mordred is an easier boss fight than Gwen. Like, straight up. Nobukatsu? That's not what I was talking about. That is not what I was talking about. But that is technically the only other bronze archer that I think we could even use. Here's what we might do. Let's try Nobukatsu. All right, let's try it, and then we'll because we have a Buster unit for him to work with, and then for the final Mordred fight later, we might go back to Paris. We'll see. But yeah, okay. As I think about it, we can kind of make that work. Pretty sure my Nobukatsu skill ranks are pretty low because I didn't want to give him skill gems. Yep, he's 544. That's great. What do we want CE wise? 2030, there we go. If I'm gonna use Nobukatsu, I'm gonna get some goddamn value out of him here. Let me look at his toolkit real quick. Right, Buster Resistance, Skill Seal, Stars, Taunt, right, okay. And the NP is the Buster Up. A lot better if you're Nobu though, my god. I mean, he's got some nice stuff if you're not Nobu, but his buffs are so much better if you have a Nobu on the team. Alright, wave 1, her NP is single target, but it'll pretty much one shot, especially things that aren't an archer. And then the second wave, it's AoE. Oh boy, Nobukatsu's not a good idea. Oh boy, I'm saying that's a pretty big nerf here. I don't remember how much health she has each wave, so I might need to NP at the beginning. That's the problem. Let's see. This does make it spicier though. Hi. Okay. No question, we are using Caneth CD. That's an easy one. I need ways to survive the NP. Like that's oh boy. That is useless. I wish Atalante had her third skill. That would help a lot. I think NP Drain works. I don't think you can NP Seal Mordred, but I think you can NP Drain her. I think. I don't really remember. I think you can. And if you can, then that actually means... But she'll just miss it. It's not rank 10 right now. Mash is pretty good. You mash with Parted Sea. That's good. Base tank with the 25% defense buff? Maybe? Okay. I'm not even sure Nobukatsu should be in the front. Why am I using Nobukatsu? This is so dumb. Okay, well, good luck. Like, he kills himself. Like, oh my god. Alright. Like, if he was 10-10-10 and stuff, right, I had like a crit servant to work with them, that'd be one thing, but we do not have any of that. I don't think there's trash mobs here. I'm almost positive there's not. Okay. I almost want to use his second skill now. not ranked up though. But no, I think it's still worth it. We want to get through this health bar quick. I love that the mini Nobus are there though. It's great. Okay, you can take another NP because he had 4 hits, thanks to David. George is gonna be pretty damn handy here. Alright, come on, David. You got crit up, you got extra stars. You did not one? You couldn't land one, right? We had 20, 30 and the stars per turn skill, and you can't land one crit. Like not, you just, well. Someone's got a crit, right? I really want to get through this without NPing the first health bar. Because if I can just NP right away in the second health bar, I'll be totally fine. But if I go in there with 0% or something, it's not great. Okay, well there goes George. Alright, I don't need to taunt or anything because everyone has evade right now. I really wish I wanted to save this evade though for the oh crap, I actually need to save this evade for the actual boss. Oh, let me think. 67k. I could attack up, hope for a triple crit. I think we could have won on this turn if we'd crit earlier. We could do Buster resist down. I really want to save that. I could taunt with mash. That's not too bad. Yeah, I think we taunt with mash. Or is it better to taunt with Nobukatsu? Is it better to taunt with Nobukatsu? I think it's better to taunt with Nobukatsu. He's not, well, no, he's got 20-30. No, okay, we'll save him because he's 20-30. Come on guys, we need crits. Although we don't have the crit buff anymore, but still. Something. Only you could have landed those earlier, she would be dead. We gotta do 31k. Crap. Maybe, if I do David's attack up and he crits, he might be able to kill here. The 30-30. I might need to taunt with Nobukatsu. Yeah, I think I got to taunt with Nobukatsu. Man, if I could have made it to the next wave, that'd have been so good. If I swear if David double crits here. Fuck! At least the evade stays. But I mean, whatever. It's not that bad because like the taunt's not that important on this wave, but it was mainly the NP gain, right? I wanted the Buster, but okay, it's not that bad. Okay, got the guard, we got the Buster resist down. All right, David. Show us the numbers here. What do I do here? I think oh, this is so good. Because, oh my god, David is so fucking good. David is so good. Look at this. We have no cooldown reduction, right? And he still has his original evade, right? Like Merlin can't even do that. And then it'll take the invulnerability. It won't take the evade here. So I'm still gonna have the evade. And then when I'm finally gonna be vulnerable, I can just cast it again. And you could do that even easier if I'd actually ranked it up, right? David is so good because he does good damage because he got the buffed NP now. And just so tanky. Oh, this is so good. Alright, I guess I just bust her chain. That's so good. That's so fucking good. Because, like, you only need the one hit evade to stop the whole NP, and you only take damage from the NP, so. OP. 164. So that would have been like you know, 120 or something before his buff, so you'd still have to work a little extra, but yeah, we got it. We so got it. Mordred, like, she'd wipe the floor with us if she could actually hit us, but it's not gonna happen. Wow, Mash, even with her defense buff, got deleted there. We're totally fine. Let's see. Nobukatsu might live because he's got Mash's defense buff and now he has Qingong's defense buff, so I think he'll live here. Our shields are finally gonna go down now. I wonder if we could get the kill to Nobukatsu. It is funny though, as strong as like that is, we could still die here so fast. Like once you do finally run out of gas, it does not take long to wipe, but hey, Nobukatsu face tanking there. Feels good. That's the last one though that you can face tank. Now, David, I could evade him, but I think David can just face tank here because he has Mash's defense buff, he has Qingong's defense buff, he has Qingong's damage cut, and he has his own defense buff. So I think I can do that, and then I do this, and then I do the Mystic Code. So he is so fine. I would, you know what? For just style, could Nobukatsu live without the evade? I'd love to evade Qingong. I want to super style on the boss here. I'm wasting so many resources. Okay, Nobukatsu, just don't die. Just live. You got this. I could probably kill with that Buster chain or the Nobukatsu chain, but I want to do like super David damage because I can get the Nobukatsu buff and I can Qingong Buster up. But okay, we'll give Nobukatsu a chance here. Buster Brave Chain, yeah, that's the one. Okay, not quite. He missed a lot of crits there. Oh, hi Nobu. I forgot that she shows up for that. Come on, don't kill the lad. Don't kill the lad. She might have killed the lad. Ooh! Look at that, 1 damage. Very nice. Oh my god, though. That was so close. Now he gets to go out on his own terms. That is such an amazing NP. So good. So I totally forgot that it did that. David was just so good here. If you replace David with a more generic low star archer, we could have actually lost here because Nobukatsu wasn't that great. David just did so much damage and just so much survivability for the team. That was so good. Yeah, I even said that for Mordred. The poll really should have been something a bit spicier. I tried to make it more spicy by bringing Nobukatsu. And I will say this, if it wasn't for David, I actually could have seen that being a wipe. I'm serious. If like David was Robin or something, only thing about Robin though is it's really easy for Robin to double NP. So Robin might have still worked. But David was just way too good there because you keep the evade from the beginning and you bring it so far in and then it's almost back. You know, it's so much survivability for this fight. But for real, Nobukatsu definitely, made that harder. And if it was a different, Billy might have failed. I think if you replaced David with Billy, that absolutely might have been a fail. Because then you get even less out of Nobukatsu. So if this account did not level David as its one archer, that absolutely could have been a wipe. Not necessarily though. It still would have been beatable with Billy or Robin or something, but it would have been closer. But David is way too good in that fight. Like that's crazy. Even more so than he used to be because of his upgraded NP. Just nutty. Yeah, see you, Red. Thank you for hanging out, man. But yeah, I tried to make it spicier, and I thought it really would be harder with Nobukatsu there, and it was somewhat harder, but yeah, David just shut that the fuck down. So you needed just like an extra 100k health, you know, just you needed to be able to. If I had to NP one more time, I couldn't have been so reckless with my value at the end there, and I'd had to have like played harder. But she didn't have quite enough health. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap up there because I want to play a little bit of Arknights and it's already getting late. So I won't get to play Arknights very long, but we'll stop there. We'll do Tristan tomorrow. Is Tristan next or is it Lancelot? I don't remember. I think it's Tristan, but actually it might be Lancelot. I don't know. One of the two. We'll fight them tomorrow, and we'll do a little bit of Arknights today. Yeah, no review today, but I'm not really in a rush. Most of our reviews that are sent in right now are all Flex accounts anyway, so it's not a big deal. But but when I have like shit to do, right, in Camelot, you know, I kind of get distracted. So. Hold on, I'm changing the stream title and all that. But yeah, if you're just here for FGO, thank you for hanging out. That's all for FGO today. And we are going to switch over to Arknights. And probably not going to play Arknights super long today. I'm going to hopefully beat 510, which again, I didn't actually play any off stream because I'm a big dumb, but if we beat that, we'll probably just finish there. I'll show off the new update a little bit though. I should probably reset the stream just so the VOD's separated. So let me do that real fast.